Blues is there. Here's the catch. Here comes Sajasi to throw to the plate, up the line, and save! Cardinals win it. 5 seconds to go in this one. A standing ovation from Blues faithful, and that'll do it. Bring out the Zamboni. And for the last time with Jim Schmucke on it, the St. Louis Blues beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 7-5. They finish with 20 wins on home ice to 14 losses, 7 OTLs. They head to Utah for the final game of the regular season. Binnington wins the final regular season home game tonight, a 4-point game for Snuggerud as well.
Let's get nasty on a Wednesday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Chip Carey, Cardinals TV network on the call last night. And then, of course, our very own Chris Kerber on the call last night right here on the Blues Radio Network 101 ESPN. Which comeback victory was your favorite last night? Pretty fun night here in St. Louis sports-wise.
Yeah, I'd say if I had to pick my favorite, it's probably going to be the game that probably matters more. So I'd go with the Cardinals on this one. No disrespect to the Blues. It was a nice, gutsy win on home ice, last home game of the season. It was nice to show the fans you weren't going to roll over and just die as far as the scoreboard's concerned. But the Penguins didn't have Malkin. They didn't have Crosby. They weren't. I don't think Carlson played either. So, and you had all of your players. You didn't have Lindstein and Stenberg, but you had all of your guys. So, as great as the comeback is, with no disrespect, there's not much value to it from a standings or season.
Right.
Whereas the Cardinals, there's value to it. They're still in the beginning stages of their season. They're still trying to figure out what the hell they are as a team. And then when you have a comeback that is spearheaded by a young individual, I'll say spearheaded by J.J. Weatherholt with 2 home runs, I'd say that he's probably a big part of it. Along with a hell of a defensive play at second. I don't know how the heck he caught that thing.
No kidding.
What I thought was cool is he ended up in Michael Jordan there for a second. I was like,
Jordan brand. Should holler at him.
Get a picture of that thing right there. So for me, I felt like the Cardinals' victory was my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it was the Cardinals. I don't... The Blues, it was cool, but like Jamie said, it's the end of the season. You got stars resting again for the opposing team, and you should win. You probably shouldn't be down to have to come back to win. But either way, neither here nor there. The Cardinals game, to me, was... that was the exciting game. As Jamie said, J.J. Weatherholt going, was a 2 for 4 with 2 home runs, 1 opposite field home run, great play in the field. And then the opportunity, that 9th inning was a big inning as well. You were able to score a run to tie the game up and force extra innings. And I think the Cleveland Guardians gave you some opportunities. So with some wild pitches, it looked like, never mind. But they gave you some opportunities throwing the ball away in the field and allowing you to advance runners to put you in scoring position. But all in all, the Cardinals kept battling, and that's what this team is. They are a team that's going to battle. They're going to fight through adversity. They're not going to quit. If your bullpen, if your starting pitching can give you an opportunity to stay in the game, you probably have an opportunity to win the game.
I like what J.J. Weatherholt said after the game, too. He said, going into that at bat, I honestly I don't even think I really knew what the score was. It's usually when something like that happens because you understand the score, you can let the moment get too big. So literally, I was just out there, and when I'm rounding the bases, I'm like, oh shoot, now it's a close game. I love it. It's about his approach. It's not just about production. There's only so much you can do about the production. You got to put in the work, and then you hope everything comes together. And you are talking about the production, but his approach, where it's like, hey, I don't know if it's 7-1 or if 7-1 we're behind or 7-1 we're up. I'm still going to take the same at bat. So two home runs, including the opposite field power that was on display. You guys mentioned the elite defensive play in a key moment, the clutch eighth inning shot after the bullpen collapsed again, unfortunately. He's locked in as a leadoff presence. I mean, you have got some really fun building blocks at the top of your order with J.J. Weatherholt and in the cleanup spot with Jordan Walker.
How about Pozo doing Pozo things? Huge hit in the 9th inning to tie the game. Cardinals end up winning thanks to Nathan Church. Nathan Church, he's had a rough season, but I think that was a good moment for him. And he had a huge bunt earlier today that led to the Cardinals' run. So it's good to see that those guys are producing when it matters. For me, I'm going to go with the Blues game just because I was there that first period, and it was an 8:30 start, and I knew I wasn't going to be home till like midnight. So when it was 3-0 in the first period, I was like, oh boy. I actually had the Cardinals game on my phone in the middle of the first period. We were watching the end of the Cardinals game. But then the Blues started to come back, and what stood out to me, not so much the game, but the amount of people that were at the game last night at the Enterprise Center. Like, that game did not matter, really. And granted, there were a bunch of Penguins fans there, too. But like Jamie said, no Crosby, no Malkin, nobody. Nobody outside of a few other players that really stood out to me. And the Blues, I think Lou Korak tweeted it last night. It was somewhat of a pond hockey game. It's kind of what it felt like. I mean, look at the score.
Yeah.
But it was a fun, entertaining game. So for me, being at the game, I'm sure other people who were at the game found it to be entertaining. But how could you not like both games? It was awesome. It was a great night for sports.
Yeah, it certainly was. Yeah, that 3-0 hole that the Blues dug themselves in almost entirely because of their own mistakes. And, Pittsburgh not even having their guys, it made it more frustrating. So you had turnovers a couple of turnovers on the blue line. You had some poor puck management, but led to some player-led accountability, and things started to click from there on out. I thought it was great because you had J.J. Weatherholt, rookie, doing what he did, and then same city, same night, you had another rookie in Jimmy Snuggerud having a 4-point night that continues a breakout stretch.
Did he score last night?
He did a couple of times, Jamie. Yeah, did you have Snuggerud?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Can we talk about something? Because Carey almost won. He almost won Light the Lamp.
Yeah.
He did.
I don't know why he didn't take the shot, man.
Well, do you hear why?
No, it was
Because
the puck
all of his
rolling.
teammates were yelling. They were yelling like they wanted him to go for
Are you
it.
serious?
Yeah, for real. And so he said, I got the puck, and I was going to shoot. And then he's like, everybody started yelling. So he's like, I
All
thought,
of us in the arena were yelling, shoot!
he's like, I thought somebody was like on me. I was on. So he's like, I was like, I passed it then.
Oh my God.
Everybody in that arena, including Marsh, screwed you last night, Carey.
Man, as I saw him stick handle the puck from being on edge, I go, he's going for it. His body language, everything was like, he's going for it.
Yeah.
So the Blues were they were winning 6-4 at one point, and I looked at my buddies and I was like, the Penguins need to score a goal here. We need them to score.
Well,
a goal.
how about Logan Mayhew?
That was
had
a
the puck.
snipe.
No, he had the puck.
Oh, okay.
It's 6-on-4 or 6-4. They did pull the goal again. He had the puck and he moves the puck up the ice. Me?
Move it back.
I would have yelled at Binner. And pass him the puck.
Yeah.
Go for it, dude. Like, I would have done that. Say, like, what do I need to make a tape-to-tape pass to freaking Snuggerud for? Like, who cares? Like, give it to the goalie.
Yeah.
If you don't want to shoot it, you give it back to me. Like,
Marsh, what are the standings for Light the Lamp?
That's over, man.
I mean,
It's over.
It is
He
over
got like 50.
for all of us when it comes to Jamie.
Anthony, yeah, because you picked up some points last night.
I had Holloway.
Did you have Holloway or did you have Booch?
I had Holloway.
He
He
booched
did.
the
I had
game
Booch
before.
the night before.
Oh.
Marsh, did you have Booch last night?
I believe so, but he only scored one.
He
so that's
scored
1
one, so I
point.
think we're tied going into
I think you're right.
tomorrow night.
Yeah. Wow. Look at you.
The battle for last place.
Yeah.
I set the goal 3
Battle
days
for
ago.
the basement.
Well, technically, we're in third place. We're both in third place.
That's true.
not
We're in
fourth
third place. Yeah.
Well,
So the battle, my goal was just to surpass Marshy. I don't have to outrun both of you. Certainly not Jamie. I just
so
have to
basically,
outrun
what you're
Marsh.
saying is if we're all being chased by a dog, you don't have to be the fastest person. You just got to be the fastest person in the group.
Correct.
Okay. And whoever's the slowest person is the one going to get bit.
I'm hoping that's Marsh. That's what I'm outlining.
Yeah.
Who are you going to choose tomorrow, Anthony?
I don't know. Now, I still get last shot here. So we'll see what happens. By the way, the Cardinals wrapping things up at Busch Stadium. They're playing the rubber match between with the Cleveland Guardians. Bottom of the sixth right now. It's been 1-1 virtually all game. And in the bottom of the sixth, the Cardinals are still tied with the Guardians 1-1. We'll keep you updated on that one. We will talk to Brad Thompson at some point following the game. And our last conversation this season with Joe Vitale will happen at 5:30. How difficult is it to build a culture for an organization? There was one NHL head coach that went off last night, and rightfully so. We talk about culture a lot, and he pointed out some things that I think a lot of people would agree with. That's next on 101 ESPN.
If you're looking to accessorize your vehicle, you already know where I'm sending you. Pure Performance. They are the best in the business, your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. The staff, they do an incredible job over there, and they have accessories for every single car and vehicle and truck that is on the road currently. So don't think that they don't have something for your vehicle, because guess what? They do. And they also have wheels and tires for every vehicle that's on the road, not just oversized or off-road tires. No, real tires for everyday vehicles. Pure Performance carries all of that. And right now, too, during the month of April, they've got a nice little special going on. Anyone who purchases a new bed cover, so anything that goes on the back of a pickup truck, any one of those items at all, and you receive a free cargo retriever. Talked about this yesterday. Doesn't seem like much until you can't reach something that's all the way in the back of your truck. Then you're going to wish you had one of these cargo retrievers. All of that over at Pure Performance. They're in St. Peter's, a 25,000 square foot facility. Walk in. Please ask for Shelby. Tell Shelby Jamie Rivers sent you in. She can help you out with everything that you need. So again, get there in person or get there online. Visit them at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
Columbus Blue Jackets head coach Rick Bowness showed plenty of frustration in his post-game speech last night after the Blue Jackets lost to the Capitals. So we're just going to play this entire audio and then dive into the big picture about culture because we want to play this audio. It is fantastic all the way through.
Well, one more thing to set it up. They went 2-8-1 down the stretch when they were a team that was right there knocking on the door for a playoff spot.
So you can understand his frustration. But he takes his own players to task, that's for sure. So this audio is courtesy of WCMH-TV. Again, this is Rick Bowness, head coach of the Blue Jackets, last night following the team's loss to the Hurricanes.
Rick, you've been a part of a lot of games and a lot of seasons. Have you ever been part of something that's as frustrating as this has been down the stretch?
No. And you know what? All you got to do is look at the stat sheet. 3 hits, 23 giveaways. Like, I don't know if I'm back, but if I'm back, I'm changing this culture. These guys, they don't care. Losing is not important enough to them. It doesn't bother them. Like, how can you go out and play like that? Should have done this about a month ago. But this is why we are where we are. This is why we're out of the playoffs. That kind of effort. Losing, you have to hate losing. I don't care if it's a meaningless game. I don't care. Show up and compete. 3 hits, 23 giveaways. What else you want to know?
You reached them for so long after you got here. How did it stop? Where did it stop?
Because it got tough. Because it got hard. Like we talked about after the Olympic break. It's going to get harder. So everything's good as long as it's going their way. And now it gets tough, we don't want to battle back. And that's what's happened over the last a couple of weeks. That's all that's happened. We're going to change that. If I'm back, I don't know if I'm back. Don and I will talk. We'll get to that. But man, oh man, some of those guys are so lucky the season's over and there's no practice tomorrow. Anyways, and there's no more games. What else you want to know?
I think even in the long history of this franchise, I don't think they've ever lost 6 games in a row to end a season at home.
No.
Is that worse?
It's terrible. Inexcusable. If they're not embarrassed by, not only tonight, by that, they're on the wrong team. They are. They got to be embarrassed with that. Anything else? Yep.
You sound like a guy that wants to be back. Do you want to be back? Did you scratch the itch? Where are you?
We scratched the itch. I'm going to talk to Don, as we said from there on, right? But and their players were told tonight, if I'm back, we're changing this freaking culture.
There you have it again. There's so many things to unpack here, and I Jamie, I feel like you put it perfectly when you said in the pre-show meeting, we talk a lot about culture. So do we overvalue it or do we undervalue it? And here's a head coach that had probably been breaking down line changes, line combinations, ways to generate offenses, and in the end, he came back to the players inside my locker room don't hate losing enough.
Yeah.
And he, at the very end there, mentions culture.
Yeah. So one side note, too, for those who don't know, Rick Bowness took over this team. The original head coach was fired because he couldn't get them going.
Because they didn't hate losing enough.
As a general manager, you're sitting there, well, the coach can't get them going.
Yeah.
Okay. So Rick Bowness came in, had a hell of a run when he first got behind the bench for the Blue Jackets, but then you see over the last 10, 11 games, it has not been great. So, yeah, it's interesting to me because a lot of people in every sport, it's not just hockey. It's you accumulate the best talent, we'll figure it out. I don't know if that's true. Because there are some guys on the Blue Jays. Zach Werenski, he might be one of the top 3 defensemen in the NHL. He's that good. But the team, like, what are you doing? I talked to, I think it was you, the Florida Panthers. They talk all the time, but once Matthew Tkachuk was traded to Florida, the culture was changed. It was just different. And so then what they did is they went and found talent that had character. The Sam Bennett's of the world. I mean, you go through the lineups that they've had over the last 3-4 years, every single player is a character guy that contributes something positive to the culture. But then you have teams that are all-star type cast. Like even if you go to baseball, look at the Padres. How much talent did they put together at one point on the field?
Yeah. Wow.
It didn't work. Why? I don't know. It didn't work. So I don't know. I think culture is something that can be very important. For me, culture is the last ingredient that makes a successful franchise, hopefully a championship team.
Yeah, I think culture comes from the men in the locker room, men or women, whatever sport you're playing. I think it comes from the players. It comes from the people that, like Coach Bonus said, that care and want to win and hate losing, and they take that mentality with them everywhere they go. Like when they're working hard in practice, in the weight room, in the film room, game days, like you have a mindset of, I don't want to let this person down. And I believe this wholeheartedly. You, in most instances, the coach can be something that you use to be a motivation. Maybe the ownership, maybe the general manager. You can use that. The hell with that guy. I don't give a damn. But you know who I do care about? I care about you, brother. I care about the person that is next to me, and I don't want to let you down. And if you want to have a good culture, you have to have good culture players. You have to have a good group of guys that. And it has to be more than one or two of those guys who have that mindset. Because if you have multiple guys with the mindset of in a different way, that's the direction that the locker room is going to go. I've played on teams where this is the mindset. We are all held accountable to a standard. You don't have to be the best player in the world, but you got to be the best version of yourself because that's why you're here. And then I've been on teams where, man, I don't think them guys even spoke. So I know, because I didn't speak to them. They didn't speak. It was what it was, but those teams don't have success either. Mm-hmm. So I think the culture is solely brought from the players and having the right group of guys in there and then having the right leader to lead those men, but also knowing that those players are the ones that are doing most of the work.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note here, too, that, sometimes – and it's going to sound crazy, sometimes you may have to keep certain guys around that continue that culture or that are the fabric of that culture. And this brings me to Oskar Sundqvist. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. He was a healthy scratch for the majority of the stretch down the last little bit for the Blues. So one would automatically think to yourself, well, they're probably going to go in a different direction with Oskar. Probably not going to re-sign him. But what if there's more to it? And so this was Oskar Sundqvist on the Curbside podcast, just on what his time in St. Louis has meant to him.
It's been amazing from day one. All the fans have been great, and like I said, the whole city it's an amazing city. It is my home, and I've always loved the city.
What does that blue note mean to you?
Everything. I would die for this blue note.
I would die for this blue note. Like, how is that the first thing that comes to your mind? Because most players would be like, oh, it means everything to me. It's so important, the rich history. He says, I would die for this. So when you talk culture and you look, into the future next year, is it worth it for a team to say, okay, he's probably only going to play 40 games for me, but this guy would die for the logo. He said it. I don't know if he'd do it, but he said it.
Right.
Doesn't matter. So now all the young Swedish players that you have on your team, by the way, I've watched them. They follow him around like the Pied Piper.
and you got a couple of key Swedish players.
Like wherever he goes on the road, they're right behind little ducklings. Ooh,
right.
Like, oh, there's
That's
Oskar.
how it was. That's how I always described that with Petro and the defenseman.
Yeah.
Vince Dunn and those guys. It was like the ducklings following the mama
so
duck.
You have to wonder. Rick Bowness talks about guys who don't care about winning. They don't hate to lose. We know Oskar Sundqvist. He's got 2 Stanley Cup championships to his name. Mm-hmm. One in Pittsburgh that he was a part of. The other one in St. Louis. He was a big piece of it on a team that had great culture, that were willing to sacrifice to win all of the elements. So you just wonder, and this is not an Oskar re-signing segment. It's not. But you just wonder, at what point does the culture matter so much that you're willing to do something that maybe doesn't make sense?
Well, I think what you're describing, Jamie, is the value of a player like that beyond the ice.
Yeah.
So where
you don't think Rick Bowness would want him?
Right. Where on your roster can you find guys that will believe in what you're trying to do? And they can't be terrible players, right? That's got to be the exception. But they also don't have to be stars. They can be role players. Guys that will have other players gravitate toward them. And you bring up the Padres, which I think is interesting. The Padres, to me, over the last 4 or 5 years, have been a strong collection of talent, but not a team. And I think that's a huge difference. The Padres did a great job collecting talent. But if you're not the Dodgers and collecting talent nonstop and getting the best
but you're also
players.
Getting leaders. Freddie Freeman's a character guy. He's a leader. Like there's guys in that lineup.
The Dodgers are smart.
Mookie Betts.
Same deal.
Great utility player.
The Dodgers are incredibly smart with their evaluations. It's about getting the right players, not just getting the best players. And I think there's a way to do it. The Dodgers have shown it, and the Padres have gone the other way, and they've just fallen short. I think the one outlier in sports is probably the Eagles. The Eagles have an incredible roster. I don't know how strong the culture is, yet they still win. I think that's rare. I think more times than not.
I think the culture took a hit when Jason Kelce retired, too.
I mean, they still won the Super Bowl, so
I think it took a hit.
It certainly did. Now we'll see if there's an impact there, right? But going back to what you just described, Jamie, in terms of like having players like Oscar Sundqvist on the roster, that's understanding the value of something, not just what the price is going to be.
Well, it's no secret that the Columbus Blue Jackets are not a good franchise. They have had really no success outside of what we remember in 2019, them taking down Tampa Bay. That's like the highlight of this franchise. And Aaron Portzline from The Athletic was reporting that some of the players disagreed, and I don't think this is a shock, that they disagreed with what Coach Bowness had to say about them not caring. And the theme is that they feel as it's more learning how to win. They are in an organization. You know, you mentioned Zach Werenski. He's one of the players that is listed on here. When has this guy won outside of the Olympics? Mm-hmm. When has this guy won? This team, this franchise has never won. Do you think that's a BS response, or do you think there's some truth to that?
I'll defer to the former professional athletes on this one, because you guys would know better in terms of locker room dynamics and comments that are made and all that.
So what is the exact question?
So the question is, do you think it's a BS response, them saying it's not a we don't care about winning or we don't care not to lose, we need to learn how to win because it's a franchise that has ultimately been unsuccessful through their entire run in Columbus?
Let me alter that just a little bit. Whose responsibility is it then? Is it on the coaching staff?
I have an absolute issue with the player saying that.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds like a BS response.
Check Zach Werenski's hockey history. He's played on winning teams. Yeah. He knows what it is to win.
I'm not saying they said that directly. That was the theme of sort of their pushback.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a BS theme.
Yeah. It sounds like losers.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Even if I played on a team in the NHL where we didn't win, I've won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I won championships. I won the World Junior Championship. I've got things on my resume that show I'm a winning hockey player. So why don't you drag that into the NHL locker room then? Mm-hmm. The players are responsible. Ultimately, like when it becomes unacceptable to only give 80%, then you've got something there. When it's unacceptable not to block a shot, when it's unacceptable not to be smart with the puck under a minute left to play, and you just put it in deep instead of trying to toe drag somebody and turn the puck over, all of these things are about winning hockey games. Football, if you don't make that block or you don't, whatever it is that gets you that smallest detail that becomes super important, I mean, those are the things you have to be doing.
Yeah, I remember years ago now, which coach it was for Illinois, I don't recall. Which head coach, I should say, I don't recall. But they asked me to come talk to the team, and they were in one of those periods where they just doing what Illinois does, struggling. And I'm talking to the team. I said, the problem that I see is some of you all, don't care enough. You don't care. It's not important enough to you. And then there are some of you all that watch that person not care enough and don't say anything to him.
And let it happen.
And you allow it to happen. And I said, if you will, I would appreciate that y'all all get up, grab each other by the hand, and walk the fast lane out. You can do it right now. I didn't tell the head coach what I was going to say. I just told him, get the hell out.
Oh, Carey,
leave. And this is the God's honest truth. The God's honest truth. When I got done talking, an assistant coach came up to me and said, you know what? I feel like I should have left because I watch this every single day. And there you have it.
Wow.
He told he was like, I watch it every day. I watch these kids. I watch people not give a damn around here, and I don't say anything either. That's what a losing culture is.
Yeah. Is
not just the players not working hard, but the people that are watching them not work hard and not doing anything about it, and they allow it to happen. You are complicit in what's going on. You are an accessory to the death of your team by watching this happen. You don't have to commit the murder. You're watching it happen. So that's what poor teams and terrible teams do. They watch it happen, and then those that do it, they don't do anything about it.
And I wonder what the connection is. We talk about tanking a lot as well. When you allow players to have that mindset of, okay, you're not going to play, we're actually going to lose because it might benefit us in the future. I don't know how that helps an organization.
Well, that's why it drives me crazy. That's why the whole tanking crap and people being mad at the Blues winning down the stretch. And,
well, that was an organic tank.
But still, whatever the case, and still being, not thinking that there's value in winning. Like there is. Just the Columbus Blue Jackets are Exhibit A right now.
Right. All right, it's Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. We got What's Trending coming up next.
My friends over at E&B Granite have been in the business in the St. Louis area for over 20 years. Why is that? Because they do an amazing job. Whenever they're renovating your kitchen, your bathroom, or some of those outdoor spaces that have become very, very popular, they do an amazing job. They just do. They're right down to the finest detail. They're on top of things. Best thing you can do is go see the in-house design staff. They're located down on Manchester Avenue. Walk in, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. One, they expect you to say that, too. They have done a remodel of my kitchen, so they'll be able to talk about all of that, too. And it really was easy. I walked in, talked to the representative. I told her flat out, I really don't know what I'm doing as far as a renovation is concerned. I know what I want, but I don't know what's trendy or what isn't, what's cool, what isn't. So she walked me through the process. I got new countertops, backsplash cabinets, the flooring, all of it. And the technicians were amazing at the installation. I really had an incredible experience right from the very beginning to the very end with E&B Granite, and you can do the same. Best way to do it is to book an appointment. Call 314-645-9300. That's 314-645-9300, or you can always visit enbgranite.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals currently lead the Guardians 4-3 in the top of the 7th. If the Cardinals can come out with a victory tonight, they'll win this series. And we'll talk with Brad Thompson all about it later in the show once this game wraps up. We'll also discuss a Blues win last night over the Pittsburgh Penguins with Joe Vitale at 5:30. But we're going to dive into what's trending next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
What are the hot topics in the sports world?
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Here's what's trending.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it is time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, I texted you guys last night. I said I had no idea that the NBA play-in tournament was happening.
Yes, sir.
I had no idea.
Trailblazers.
I was locked in.
Great.
I was locked in on the Blues and the Cardinals. But last night, two very entertaining games. You had the Hornets and the Heat. They went to overtime. Tyler Hero chucked up a 3 to try and win the game. They go to overtime. LaMelo Ball, I don't know what he was doing, gives the ball away, then fouls beyond the three-point line, but then takes it in, game-winning layup. Hornets move on, and then you had the Trailblazers take down the Suns. I think a lot of people thought the Suns would move on in that particular game. But what did you make of the games last night? And of course, we have a few more tonight.
I think defense wins in these play-in tournaments, and I think the Blazers, with their defensive identity, them winning last night's not a total shocker. I know that there's some issues going on with the Magic right now, but the Magic also have a very strong defense. So I would lean toward them tonight. I'm a big believer in like these defense traveling at this time of year and not necessarily, hey, who's hot? Who's the hot team? But Carey, I know you follow the NBA a lot closer than I do.
Yeah, I thought last night one of the first thing that should be discussed is Bam Adebayo was injured in that game because of it looked like a dirty play by LaMelo Ball, tripping him.
Eric Spoelstra thinks.
And he looked like on his tailbone and was unable to finish the game. And then you lose in overtime by 1 point at the rim. Bam Adebayo probably has something to say there if he's in that game, or maybe you don't even make it into overtime. But I mean, all in all, it was a good take by LaMelo. I guess a good foul by LaMelo if you're tripping the best player on their team. He doesn't finish the game. But I thought it was a good game. And tonight, get my favorite team to watch. Got the Warriors playing in their play-in tournament versus the old Clip Show. I guess it's not the same as Lake Show, but the Clippers. So, should be fun. I mean, I'm excited about, the NBA and playoff time coming around. Hopefully the Warriors can make some things happen tonight, but we'll see.
So last night, as I was sort of going through this game, and I mentioned Tyler Hero decides to throw up a 3. Game's tied. There's time on the clock, and multiple people were mentioning, in this particular clip on X, why not drive the ball to the hoop? Mm-hmm. Why not drive the ball to the hoop? Maybe you get fouled, you go to the free throw line, who knows? But instead, I'm just going to sort of dribble around and then chuck up a 3 to try and win the game, to try and be that guy. Do you think that's maybe what it is? Is that this era of basketball where you want to have that great 3-point shot at the buzzer to win the game? Like, why not drive the hoop there?
Well, I think that's exactly what you said. I think that's just
Is that it?
I think this is how basketball is being played right now. It is just perimeter shooting. We saw it also in college basketball up until when? The Final Four in the championship game, where Michigan can win in a multitude of ways. I think some of these NBA teams, I know they have to build a heck of a lot slower than college basketball because there's no transfer portal. But I think, Carey, these NBA teams need to start figuring out how they can win in a multitude of ways. Not just shoot the three, and you're gonna be good. I think they're gonna have to start working the ball back in the paint.
The 3-point shot is an analytic darling. This is what happens when, pardon me, when nerds get involved with sports.
Wow.
Like someone along the way said, don't take a 2-point shot. It's not worth as much. You can make a 3-pointer, and the worst shot in the NBA is a 2-point jumper. Shut up. You ever made a 2-point jumper over a 6'8" dude? Probably not. But somebody along the way told you or told us that 3 points is more valuable, and it is. If you make it, it's also a further shot. So, yeah, analytics have ruined that aspect of sports where teams feel like I don't need to and it has become a philosophy for a lot of these coaches. They don't want players taking mid-range jumpers. They want you to take a 3-point shot because they feel the value of it is greater than knocking down a 2-point shot. So that's where we are with the NBA and basketball as a whole.
Jamie.
Thank you. And so, yeah, that's kind of the analytic part of it, and it's one of the reasons why, sports they're not ruined, but they are, dying.
Oh, God.
No.
That's tough to hear.
Sports?
Sports. Yeah, man.
Dying?
The way I knew it, yeah, sports, man.
What about evolving?
Not dying.
Okay.
Whoa.
You got expected goals. You got WOBA. You got whoopsie or oopsie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Whoa, bacon.
WRC plus minus
It's just
divided
one
by
plus.
2.
There's no dividing.
Yeah, it is. You got to divide into how many steps you took to get to the ballpark. Something. I don't know. I'm sure there's an analytic for that.
Yeah, Y equals MX plus B.
E equals MC squared. Like, you know what I mean? When you start putting letters into math.
I'm out. That was a tough time for me. What the hell is this he doing here?
I'll see y'all later, man.
Here's what X is worth.
Right.
Anthony, can you find X?
Solve for X. I'll tell you what, I can't do it with E.
Nah. So, yeah. Ridiculous, man.
Last thing here. Another young Major League Baseball stud gets paid. Tigers rookie Kevin McGonigal, who we watched recently when the Cardinals took on the Tigers. He reached an 8-year, $150 million extension. Man, these teams are just giving away money to all their young players.
Yeah, I mean, this is the trend. I'm a little surprised to see the MLB PA lose so many young ones to the other side. Because the MLBPA has always been about.
They didn't die, Anthony. They're rich.
Make sure you hit free agency.
They will.
They just signed a
contract.
Right, 8 years, $150 million. I don't think he lost.
From the MLBPA standpoint, they did. They don't want young guys, young superstars.
I know.
It's not it.
The NHLPA is no different, and you get phone calls saying, "Don't do this. Don't take a deal. Don't take a discount." Mm-hmm. Shut up.
I'm with you on
Where
that,
are you when things are tough?
They're not there.
They're not there. They don't even answer your phone calls.
No.
Trust me.
Yeah. All right. It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. So, Jarren Duran of the Red Sox last night, a little bit of an obscene gesture to a fan.
Which one?
And then Duran addressed it after the game. I'm on the side of Duran. I don't think he crossed the line. Okay. I think these idiots that pay, what they pay to get a ticket and feel like they're entitled to say whatever they want to athletes, I think they cross the line. But I'll pick the brains of the two former athletes and all the stuff that they used to hear during their playing time. That's next at 101 ESPN.
All right, my friends over at Urban Chestnut, man, they got so many great things going on over there. You go on their website, urbanchestnut.com, and you can read all about the history of the company and the different beers that they make over there. And here's what I can tell you, having gotten to know all the people, the staff, and the people that work there, There's a tremendous amount of pride in producing a great beer and a great work environment over there, and they just keep pumping out great beers. Zwickel, the original, is a great beer. Unbelievable. Love it. They've got the new Zwickel Light, which is, to me, the best light beer that I've ever tasted. And I'm not alone on this one. Everybody I hand it to, or that they take a drink from it, they love it too. And they're going to love the fact that it's only 95 calories, 3.7 carbs. And again, I always say this. It's a St. Louis beer that's brewed by St. Louis people, which matters because people here in St. Louis know what good beer is. So get out right now and check out your local stores for that Zwickel Light, and also peek around for some Squirrel Works. That's a brand new hazy IPA that's coming out. Again, another amazing beer from Urban Chestnut. Get out there, try them all for that matter. I do. The Rivers House has all of them because we love everything Urban Chestnut has going on, and you will too. Remember that the Zwickel Light is the unofficial beer of St. Louis hockey. Again, you can visit urbanchestnut.com for more details, and please keep it light and keep it local.
So last night, Red Sox outfielder Jarren Duran, directed an obscene. Did you? Yeah, you messed me up there with the. You call it Duran.
I messed you up.
Jarren Duran. You were saying that in the office, got stuck in my head. No, I'm not going to blame you, Carey. That was on me.
I I did it. I said Duran right before we came back on, so it was ringing in your head, I'm sure.
I'm not going to put that on you. I take full responsibility.
I take responsibility. That's what good teammates do.
Take two.
Okay.
Red Sox outfielder Jarren Duran last night directed an obscene gesture toward a fan at Target Field as he returned to the dugout after a fifth-inning ground-out in Boston's 6-0 loss to the Minnesota Twins on Tuesday night. Duran, who has spoken about addressing his mental health, said a fan made a personal comment that crossed the line. Quote, "Somebody just told me to kill myself," Duran said. "I'm used to it at this point, you know? I mean, blank happens. I mean, I'm going to flip somebody off if they say something to me. But it is what it is. I shouldn't react like that, but that kind of stuff is still kind of triggering." For those that don't know, a little context here. Duran discussed severe depression and at least one suicidal attempt in a Netflix series that debuted last year. He says, "Honestly, it's my fault for talking about my mental health because I kind of brought in the haters. So I've just got to get used to it," Duran said. "I was just trying to hold it in and not really bring that up to the team. I mean, we're trying to win a game. I shouldn't even bring that up to anybody. It just happens."
He should bring that up.
He absolutely should.
That's very important.
You never know who's watching and in what state mentally and what moment they are in their life. So good on Duran, who is a professional athlete, to discuss things that he's struggling with, including depression.
Yeah, I think...
And somebody watching CD could look at it and say, man, okay, all right, yeah, me too, I'm not alone or whatever. Right. So good on him for mentioning it. Should he have been more composed? Probably. But you know what? Where's the responsibility of this fan who feels entitled because he buys a ticket to the game? I can talk to the professional athletes however I want, and then we're going to throw it back on them. Yeah. They should be more calm.
Yeah. I think that, one, him speaking about, mental health and all of the aspects that go with it are very important, especially when you are a professional athlete. You have people that look up to you. You have people that are watching you, and most people assume that because you have X number of dollars in your bank account or because you're able to play a professional sport and be on TV, that you're not dealing with these things internally. To go out and say, hey, I have dealt with this, I have had these thoughts, I have been through these emotions and these moments, and here's how I got past it, that alone could save someone's life. So I think what he did was outstanding, and I think it should be commended. And then when you're looking on the flip side of someone who is ignorant enough to not only say something to a person like that, but say it to a person that has actually mentioned before that he has had those types of thoughts. Yeah, I think it's too far. That person, I'm probably more violent than most. I would probably want to punch him in his face because I think that warrants that type of response when you talk to somebody like that. And so it's unfortunate. I have no problem either with what he did. I'm sure that there will be, the MLB will tell him, or they may fine him, because you can't have that response because of who you are and the status that you have. But I do think it's a natural reaction to respond in that way. We drive, on 70, on 40, someone cuts you off, you might give them the bird. You might flip them off then because you're angry. But if someone actually tells you something of that nature, that fan is lucky that that's the only response that he got. And I do agree with you. I do think we live in a world or in a time frame where people feel like they can say whatever they want to people, whether it's on a computer, whether it's I bought a ticket and I'm allowed. No, you're not. Like, these are still human beings. They still should be respected. If nobody is being disrespectful to you, you have no right or no reason to be disrespectful back to them. And there are consequences for your actions should you continue to be disrespectful.
If you remember last year, Ketel Marte, who was seen crying during the game because a fan shouted something to him about his mother who had passed away, and he got emotional about the whole situation, and we saw him crying during a baseball game. Like, this situation with Jarren Duran is somewhat on the same wavelength as that. Like, these players are people. They're not machines.
Well, my other response is this. What's going on in your life then? What is going on in your life that you would, knowing that he struggles with depression, what's going on in your life that you're going to yell something like that, because you ain't right either.
Man, that's
like,
why
we're all dealing with stuff.
Like,
what's your problem?
I firmly believe some people should be slapped. Like, I do think there is a time and a place for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, being that's going above and beyond heckling, right? That is too much. And maybe I shouldn't say you should slap people, but I probably would, because I think that's far and beyond what the realm of being, jeering and giving it to an opposing team.
It's different.
Like that's sometimes it can be. I've been in games where it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the things you hear, like, whew, that was hilarious. Good.
Yeah.
Man,
if you're creative,
it can be funny.
That's
but
funny,
if
right.
there are things that are being said, like when you make it personal, when you talk about a player's wife or his kids or his mother or father or his mental health issues, then you're going too far. And that fan, first of all, it's kind of what I was talking about earlier with people doing things and then people around them not saying anything. You're complicit in that.
I agree.
You're not helping the matter at all, because you didn't say anything. The moment that came out of his mouth, everyone should have been looking at that fan and be like, "What the hell did you say?
What?
What's your problem? What's your problem? Hey, come get him. Let me tell you who needs to leave. He needs to leave." But people will stand by him like, and it's fear. I get it. But some people need to be able to say, that's incorrect, that's disrespectful, and you should get the heck up out of here. And we can talk about the players and go after them in a spirited way, but don't attack them in that way.
Yep.
Well, even if the fan did not know his previous mental health history, still, you have no idea what the impact could be from what you are saying.
Why even say something like that? I mean, it's ridiculous. It goes, like Carey said, it goes beyond just kind of heckling. There is a, and Carey and Jamie would tell you, playing professional sports or even collegiately, like, you have to have thick skin to play at that level. But that goes beyond having thick skin. Sometimes there are comments that are made to, and not in the same vein, but like comments that are made toward us, whether it's on the text line or whatever. And as soon as we say something, it's, you got to have thicker skin. No, you got to shut your mouth.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll either get a Jarren Duran who will give you the bird, or you're going to get socked in the face and you'll come across a Gavin McKenna.
Right. But that's the problem too. It's like you're putting yourself in that situation so that somebody does react,
right?
And it's up to that person to, have composure. Or, hey, why don't you just be a human being?
You want to do it, and then you want to sue them for punching you in the face because you know and sometimes it is intentional. Like they feel like, oh, I can get paid. You maybe work harder in your craft rather than being a troll.
Have like a skill set.
Find one. There
contribute to society.
There are plenty of things to do to make money legally that don't require you to be a heckler or being disrespectful to a professional athlete or a collegiate athlete or just anyone in general. Yeah. And then getting punched in the face and then suing them. That's ridiculous.
I hope MLB doesn't do anything. I hope they if they want to release a strong message, say, hey, listen, players, let's be composed here, but we're not gonna suspend him for this. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Has Robert Thomas established himself as the next captain for the Blues? I would think it goes well beyond the captaincy. Goes well beyond production, and I'm sure Jamie will have thoughts on that too. Next on 101 ESPN.
Circus Sports, the best betting app that is out there, bar none. It is the only one I use, and the reason I say that is because they have the best odds of any app that is out there. Download any one that's on the market currently, compare the odds, and you'll see that Circus Sports has the best odds available. But you do have to download the app. You got to go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, punch in Circus Sports, and find that white logo. Click on that, sign up. That's the state of Missouri, and you're good to go. And if you're looking at some odds right now, I told you the last couple of days been tough for the NHL to really find the money line odds. I like the over in the first period tonight. Dallas Stars, Buffalo Sabres. It's at -135. Like that one. Also like the Red Wings and the Panthers over in the first period, -135 as well. You'll find those odds as well as many others over at Circus Sports. So get over there and download it today. And all sorts of great things. Player props that are available, parlays. So much fun over at Circus Sports. So again, download the app or visit circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I mean, our first period was very sloppy. Our puck play was close to horrendous. We didn't do a lot of favors for our goaltender. I do give the players credit, though. At the end of the first, I grabbed Robert Thomas and I said, you guys have the room. I said, I'm not coming in. I said, you guys know how to play the right way. Why don't you guys discuss about what we got to do anything different to get back in this game? And the second period was much better.
I mean, the older guys spoke up. Thomas spoke up. Jake, Fowles, those guys said what we needed to hear as a team. Just like I said, bringing this energy for the people that support us most. It's just kind of in the room that we know we need to bring to the table, and we didn't do in the first period, but I thought we did in the second and third.
First voice you heard was Jim Montgomery. Second one you heard was Jimmy Snuggerud, who had a 4-point night last night as the Blues came from behind to beat the Penguins. It's Fast on 101 ESPN 309. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Jamie, first off, what do you make of the statements made by Monty and Snuggerud where guys were able to kind of speak up about any sort of changes? And obviously Robert Thomas was mentioned specifically.
Yeah, that's what it's about. I mean, that's what it is. Usually halfway through the season, like Paul Maurice said it best a couple of years ago with the Florida Panthers, He's like halfway through the season, the locker room's the players. I'm there to assist the players in what they're doing and give them, a game plan, and then we talk about it, we tweak it, and they execute it. If there's a problem, they fix it. So I think successful teams have good leadership groups that can get a hold of the room and wake guys up and change things and come up with solutions. So my first impression is yeah, that's what you do. Now, Robert Thomas specifically, that's what he's supposed to do. And you hear Jake Neighbors in there as well. Cam Fowler was mentioned. Yeah, that's your leadership group right now. So I don't necessarily think it's one particular player. I don't know the context of it. If Jim Montgomery sought out Robert Thomas or was walking down the tunnel and he happened to be there and grabbed him and said, hey, I'm not going in there. You guys do it. Would he have done the same with Jake or Colton Parayko or Fowler? I don't know. We'll have Monty on a Friday, and we can maybe get a little clarification if he sought him out.
Sure.
But Robert Thomas is certainly one of the guys you should, as well as Jake Neighbors, as well as Cam Fowler. Your leadership group are guys you should look to or turn to and say, hey, the room is yours, boys. You broke it in the first period. Now go fix it. And they did.
All right, so a lot of talk recently about Robert Thomas potentially being the Blues' next captain.
Yeah.
You know better than anybody in this room what it means to have a hockey team select a captain. Do you think that Robert Thomas has made strides to the point where he's not only the obvious choice but the right choice? Or do you think that the Blues will still be looking for more before they name their next captain?
Yeah, I don't know. I certainly don't think he's the obvious choice. I don't think any of them are the obvious choice right now. Do I think he has done some things that are really, really good here during the last stretch of hockey? Absolutely. But he also did it at the end of last year, too. And this is not me being negative about Robert Thomas. I'm not at all. But if you're Alex Steen, Jim Montgomery, Doug Armstrong, the group that's going to pick the next captain, it's all about patterns and tendencies. So what are Robert Thomas's patterns? What are his tendencies? He is at his best when things are going well. And when they're not going well, we talk about body language. We talk about slamming doors. We talk about staring up at the banners and the rafters. So I don't know which version is which. I don't know if there has been a switch that's been turned on and now he thinks he's going to be the captain and wants to be and he's accepting responsibility, because that might be true. But he also did it at the end of last season, too, and there was no captaincy on the line.
Sure.
So for me, it's also a situation where Robert Thomas over the last 20-some games hasn't really faced adversity. The team has been winning, and he's been on an excellent line that's been producing night after night after night. Now, is the success a product of his buy-in, or is his leadership a result of the great success that the team is having? So I don't know which is which at this point.
My only question, kind of similar to what you're saying, is it just a sample size? Because if you have leadership qualities, those leadership qualities are always there. They are there at all times. It doesn't take the captain, quote unquote, or air quotes, or whatever you want to say, to be traded or injured or moved for you to now take on a leadership role. You don't have to have, I'm sorry to bust some people's bubbles, you don't actually have to have a letter on your sweater to be a leader.
Whoa, Carey, that's the only time
Jamie,
you're allowed to say
listen, man, I'm just saying, you don't actually have to have that to be a leader in a locker room. I'm sorry that you think that the person with the C is the only person that talks. It's not how it happens. So the fact that he is more vocal now, from what it seems, I think that is awesome. But it would also lead me to question, well, where is that leadership skill, or where is that leadership quality when, like Jamie said, throughout the entire season? Because that's what's going to be needed for you to be a captain of a team, for you to be looked at as the leader of a team. It's not just small sample size. It's not when everything is going good, when nothing is on the line. What are you doing, or what are you saying when you lose 7 games in a row and you don't have any points in those games and you're a -6 in that moment because you're still the leader of the team? Are you able to not only get yourself out of it, but help get your team out of it with the correct words? That's what leadership is. Anybody can lead when we're winning. For the most part, this ship is running itself. But when we're struggling and in the middle of the middle of it, and it doesn't look like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, who is that person that is standing up and speaking to the team and getting guys to work their hardest, even though the results aren't showing up night after night?
Sure.
I'm not insinuating that this is the case with the Blues, but when you guys played, were there ever younger players within a locker room that had those leadership qualities but felt like they couldn't speak up because there was already an older person?
Maybe your rookie year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But after that, like once you establish
once you have
yourself,
like 5 years or 6
I
or whatever.
remember my second year in the league, calling guys out, calling myself out.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, we're in this together at this point. I was quiet last year because I was a first-year guy, but now I smell that stank, and I don't like it. And it's not always calling guys out either. It's coming in after a period and just say, guys, that's not acceptable. Absolutely not acceptable. Like, what the hell are we doing here? And sometimes being a leader is not calling a guy out in front of everybody. Sometimes being a leader is being a man and grabbing a guy and say, hey, I want to talk to you for a sec over here in the hall. And be like, look, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
You turned the puck over 5 times that period in our end. Can't happen, man. Nobody else is saying anything right now because you're a good guy. We like you, and we think you're working hard. But no more of that, man.
Yeah, I think when you are, whether you're a coach, and I think a lot of the guys that become coaches or have that leadership quality while they were playing or in some fashion or form throughout their entire lives, but it's knowing who you can talk to and how you can talk to them. Like some players, some teammates, you can flat out get nose to nose and cuss them out, and they'll be like, I got you. And then some players, if you do that, they're shut down for the next 3 days. Like, oh, you talk to me so rough. And you got to pull those guys aside and say, hey, man, this is what we need from you. And maybe you talk to them like that because that person might be a bit crazy. So you don't want to go after him that way. You want to have that conversation.
Well, sometimes it's not productive either, right?
Correct.
Like the standoff at the OK Corral is not always productive.
It's not working.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to understand how you're talking to. We were talking about John Lester and Anthony Rizzo last week, how Lester saw something in the paper and went right beeline, weight room, say that again, I'm going to fast lane kill you. Now, would he have killed him? Probably not, but he felt that way in the moment and
went right to him.
And Rizzo took a few minutes. I got you, brother. Not
You're
a problem.
right.
Won't happen again. That's leadership. That's leadership on both sides. That's a good teammate, understanding. Maybe I said something that was taken out of context and that bothered him. But it's about knowing who you're talking to and who you can motivate in what way. And that's the true qualities of a great leader, in my opinion.
And as far as the Robert Thomas question is concerned, only the coaching staff and the player know what's really going on. Because he has a lot of term left on his contract, and I know that most NHL teams now, they like to have a captain that's going to be in place for an extended period of time. Not that Jake Neighbors won't be here for an extended period of time, but his contract says in 2 years he's up again.
Yeah.
And maybe there's things going on behind the scenes that we haven't seen. One thing I will say I've noticed about Robert Thomas, he's made himself more available to the media, like a captain would. Because how many times do we see Ryan O'Reilly and Braden Shen have to stand in front of that camera and explain another loss, explain another bad second period, explain another slow start? So Robert Thomas now being a guy that's, lending himself to that spot, that shows signs of maturity. What he's saying behind closed doors, I don't know. I can't tell you. How he's accepting more responsibility, I don't know. Is he being more constructive with his comments and his behavior on the bench and when things go wrong? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know. But if they do give him the C, if they do, it will be because Jim Montgomery, Alex Steen, and all the others believe that it is the right move for not just the individual, but also for the team.
That's Jamie Rivers, that's Carey Davis, Andrew Marsham, Anthony Stalter. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. At the bottom of the hour, we have Brad Thompson, who will join us from Busch Stadium. Cardinals rally and then hold on. Not even rally. They were tied 1-1. They're only down by a run. I guess it's a rally. They were down 1-0. The Cardinals win today 5-3 over the Guardians in the rubber match, so they take the series with Cleveland. So Brad Thompson will join us at 3:30. We'll break down that matchup. So we'll do a quick bet the board next on 101 ESPN. You won't beat the price or selection at Auto Centers Nissan when it comes to you finding your next new ride. They've got over 1,000 new and used vehicles all in one location, right out in Herculaneum, just minutes from South County, right off I-55. And you're going to love the fact that they've got tremendous new deals when it comes to their new Rogue, Pathfinder, Murano, and Frontier models. They're all eligible for 0 payments for 6 months, 0 money down, and 0% APR for 60 months. Plus, all remaining 2025 models have been discounted up to $11,000 off MSRP. That's not all. If you go to AutoCentersNissan.com, there's additional savings there, too. Just choose your vehicle and then hit the green Claim My Buyer's Bonus button to lock in additional savings. There's no gimmicks. There's no special qualifications. That's all you have to do. Choose your vehicle and then hit that green Claim My Buyer's Bonus button, and then you'll get additional savings on top of it. You're going to love the selection. Like I said, over 1,000 vehicles, but every new Nissan also includes a 30-day return promise. And if you're not in the market for a new or 2025 Nissan model, they've got different makes and models when it comes to their used vehicles as well. In fact, their used vehicles qualify for 0 down and no payments for 3 months. Tell them Stalter sent you when you head out to Herculaneum. It's Auto Centers Nissan and AutoCentersNissan.com. In about 5 minutes, we'll be joined by World Series champion Brad Thompson, who's on the call today for the Guardians and Cardinals. Cardinals win 5-3 today. Dustin May looked very good. 6 innings of work, only allowed 6 hits, or scattered 6 hits, only allowed 1 earned run. Walked 1 4K, so another strong performance by Dustin May. Again, we'll break it all down with Brad Thompson in about 5 minutes. We got at the board right now, though. Marsh, after last night, how we looking?
Jamie's still in the lead with 7 points. Carey with 6. Anthony, you and myself were the only ones to pick up points last night. You have 4 and I have 3.
Ridiculous.
Okay, Jamie.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with an over in the first period play. I know you guys find that hard to believe. It's going to be in the Kraken Golden Knights game. The reason being is the Kraken, their top 3 goalies are unavailable. So they're going to their 4th string goalie.
Who is doing this? The Kraken?
The Seattle Kraken.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if there's injuries or something. I'm not sure. Their CEO just had a massive press conference the other day about doing a whole bunch of crazy things. And so the Seattle Kraken, Vegas Golden Knights, over 1.5 at minus 135.
Anthony, check that, please.
You can look at it right here, Carey.
I don't want to look at that.
No. You want to call me out? You do it yourself.
I don't look at that.
Okay?
What are you trying to show me?
Yeah.
Who do I need to call? Anthony, please. I don't know what he's doing over there.
Let's see here. The Kraken.
It's right here, fool.
Oh, I called him a fool.
He did call me a fool.
Well, he's right beside me. He could lean over and look.
I'm stalling, man. I'm trying to find my bit.
Doing it to me,
Mike Trout.
What?
Mike Trout.
Doing what?
Oh, you know what I'm doing. Hits, runs, RBI.
Where is it?
Right there.
Minus 159.
149.
Right on the edge.
Right there, brother.
Right on the edge. All right. I'm going to take the Cubs, Phillies under 9 runs tonight. Under 9.
Wow.
Cubs and Phillies.
Playing the under, huh? That's always a boring bet.
It certainly is.
Oh, it's terrible.
Don't even watch.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Don't even watch.
I know.
Anytime anybody gets on base, you're
Phillies,
like,
Cubs under?
yeah, under 9.
I've bet the under a few times, and
by
it's
the
just
Cubbies.
terrible.
What?
Oh, I heard you said 6-4. Yeah, you don't have to ask me what. You said 6-4 win by the Cubbies.
You don't want the Cubs to win. Right? I mean, you want the Cubs to win.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't want the Cubs to win. And
That's how
furthermore,
What are you trying to stir up, Val?
That's how that works, isn't it?
Kind of.
6-4 would go over the total.
Oh, over. You always go over. Anthony, you told me your words, and this is a direct quote. You don't ever want to pick the under. That's the worst bet in sports. That's
the least fun.
That's what. So I must have misheard you when you said under.
I don't think you did.
6-5 Phillies.
I just added a run there. Marsh, what are you taking?
I'm going to take Andy Pages over 1.5 hits, runs,
Pedro.
RBI.
Is that Pedro's brother?
Yeah.
Vote for Pedro. All right. There you have it. There's Bet the Board. You're on 101 ESPN. Those Dodgers are rolling, aren't they?
I don't even pay attention to the Dodgers anymore because I find them so not interesting.
You don't like winners?
Yeah, it's fine. Like, Carey, I'm not going to argue with you. Yeah, they're winning. Boy, that's fun. Like, there's nothing compelling about the Dodgers.
Winning not fun?
It's fun watching Ohtani, but like after you're like, okay, whatever. I seen him hit home runs. Oh, he threw the baseball hard. Like, whatever.
He goes tonight.
The most compelling thing about the Dodgers is their right field ball boy who grabbed his chair and ran into the field of play when there was a ball hit down the line. Typically, you want to get out of the way and like run into foul territory.
By running into the field of play, he actually got out of the way.
Barely.
I know, but just because if he stayed over there's only so much real estate, then he might get in the way. Mm-hmm. So way better to take your chair with you and run into the field.
Yeah, I would run towards home plate, but that's just me.
You'd be directly in the way then.
No.
Well, yeah, because how does that change your line? If you just run towards home plate, the ball's coming your way.
Yeah, but you get out of the way of the ball and then make sure I'm not in the way of the player.
What if someone's going to third or going home?
But the ball rimmed around
in the back
into
of the head with a laser.
No, that's not where the ball was, though.
Is it my ball or your ball?
Whose ball is it?
Whose ball are we talking about?
Brad Thompson next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Universal Windows Direct. How about your Cardinals? They end up taking the series against the Cleveland Guardians with a 5-3 victory today. We'll talk all about it with our guy Brad Thompson coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Universal Windows Direct. You'll be saying, I love my windows.
We're talking everything Redbirds with Cardinals TV analyst Brad Thompson on 101 ESPN. BT is presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, the ultimate home run for wings and wins.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. It's the Fat Lane. Not us, Carey. We go to mentality.
Yep. Yeah, Marshy.
I just wasn't expecting that. I thought we were making like a cocky fat A Stalter joke.
Seriously.
He's not anymore.
I got an email one time about that.
A tenured listener.
Yeah. You know what? I'll read it later.
Have you read that email for our guest?
I don't think we have.
I think he'd like to hear it.
Tenured listeners at tenured listeners.
You haven't a 10-year.
You haven't a
10-year.
Yeah.
I took it as 10
So
years.
let's go to the Callier and Thompson phone line, where Brad Thompson joins us right now. BT, I've been told that you should be called Brad Exotic Thompson after today's call.
Well, Chip was talking about during the broadcast. You never know where we might go on a given day. And it was a great ball game, so no reason for tangents, but we did it anyhow. And we talked about chess, and he got into the Queen's Gambit during COVID, right? And I said, look, I don't know how to play chess, so I was never into that. I'm more of a Tiger King kind of guy. Yes. And look, guys, we spent countless of hours talking about Tiger King. That and The Last Dance, that's the only thing that got us through COVID. Very true. In radio. Well, that was alcohol. It. So, yeah, well, 100%. And one of those things is still going. It was one where, he called me Brad Exotic during this one. I can't wait to see what AI does with that, because that's way too easy nowadays. Mm-hmm. So, you never know where we might go on a given day.
Yeah, I heard the Teletubby conversation, too, as well. And, of course, we knew, because you had shared this before, that one of your first jobs was, Babies R Us? Is that correct?
Babies R Us, yeah. That Tinky Winky, yeah, that's right. And Joe and Don and all of them. Yeah, all of the Teletubbies selling those things.
Carey looked at me and he goes, is he talking about? I go, yes, he is. Yes, he absolutely is.
The Teletubbies. It was Po, Lala, Dot, and Tinky Winky for the Teletubbies.
Tinky Winky.
And I promise we'll get to baseball here in a second, but I loved how you said, and I quote, the hardest thing to do was to tell a parent that we were out of whatever Teletubby they were looking for. So that must have been tough for you.
Try that. Try to tell some pregnant lady that really came in for one item that you don't have the Tinky Winky.
Yeah.
Go ahead, try it.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Duck. So the Cardinals win 5-3 today, and I think, Brad, one of the big storylines was Dustin May after back-to-back terrible starts. He has put together back-to-back very good starts. You know better than we do. Was there an adjustment that was made, or was just he got off to a rough start, and now this is the guy that we saw in spring training?
Yeah, I mean, the main adjustment is the fact that he was actually getting ahead in the last couple of games. And like we all know this, doesn't matter how good your stuff is. If you're pitching from behind, you're going to get hurt. And that's where he was the first couple of outings. He was pitching behind. He'd have to come back into the zone in fastball counts with fastballs, and they were getting hit hard. The last couple of games, he's done a better job of getting ahead, not just with his fastball. He's used his whole arsenal. We showed the outs by pitch today, and he really varied it very well in this ball game. But it's just been more of consistent in zone early to get expansion later. He had 4 strikeouts today, only the 1 walk, which he was frustrated by the walk. He didn't walk anybody last time out. So to me, these are all great signs for Dustin May, because he was electric in spring. We all know the arm that he has and how big he can be for this rotation. So a couple of good steps forward.
Brad, we've talked a lot about Jordan Walker, and justifiably so. I mean, this young man is playing fantastic baseball right now. What has been the big adjustment? Like, everybody's trying to guess and figure it out. We see people are slowing down tape, looking at his hands, his arms, his hips, his knees. I mean, everybody's trying to break it down. You're around the team a lot closer than we are. What are some of the people that are actually involved in the process saying about it?
Yeah, look, there are some physical adjustments. And when you break it down on video, you can see him. He has closed his stance by a few inches. Remember last year he was very open to the pitcher, and it would create him to start open and stay open and be even more open when he strides. So he's done a good job of closing off. He's also, from a movement standpoint, done a good job of not moving the hands as much. He would have a lot of up and down with his hands, which would create oftentimes his swing path coming around the baseball. That's where you were seeing those ground balls to the left side. So there are those changes that he's truly worked hard to make. But it goes further than that with with Jordan Walker. It comes down to the fact that he has been able to make better decisions, and that you guys know this from playing in the NFL, from playing in the NHL, from playing shortstop until the coach told you're a second baseman. Like, you have to be able. Wow. You have to be able. You got to be able to slow the game down, right? And you get to it when you first couple of years or first couple of at bats or months or days at intramurals. Like, you get into. The game is moving fast, and you just try to move with it. Well, he's realized that he can slow it down. He can think along with the pitcher. He can think along with whatever the situation of the game is, because that's like the next level, right? Okay, this is how guys are pitching you with nobody on. This is how guys are pitching you with runners on. This is how they're pitching you with a base open. And I feel like he's really working through all of those things.
BT, we have talked a lot about the bullpen and some of their struggles. One person that has not had many struggles at all is Riley O'Brien. He got another save today. He has 2 wins on the season. I think he's second right now in the majors in saves. What are you seeing from him? He hasn't allowed a hit in 5 of his last outings. What are you seeing from him and the confidence that he's having?
Yeah, so I think you hit it. That's the exact thing, is the confidence, right? So Chip and I were just talking about him a couple of minutes ago. Like, this is a guy, he's always had stuff. He's forever had stuff. He's a guy with a 97 to 100 mile an hour sinker that moves a ton, a sweeper that goes the other direction. But a couple of years ago, it looked like he didn't trust it. It looked like he felt he still had to nibble, that he had to work the corners, that he had to be perfect. And that's not true. He can fill up the zone with it. And today he was dotting with 98, 99 miles an hour. But I think it's that belief in himself right now that I can attack. I can go right after these guys. I belong here, and I belong in this role. Confidence, as we all know, I don't care what you do for a living, you better believe in yourself if you want to be great at it. And he has got that right now. Like, he just believes that he should be there. So he's been awesome. Jojo Romero has been fantastic. I believe that Stanek will continue to have success. I know he had a rocky one yesterday. But you got some pieces at that back end of the bullpen that you can trust. Now, you do want to be able to level some things out. You had some guys that were hit hard. But good teams pick each other up. And we saw that in the last 2 games. Yesterday, it was being able to pick up Stanek after a rough one. Today, it was being able to pick up Brule after a rough one for him, where he goes 2/3 and gives up 2 runs. You got to figure out different ways to win ball games, and Cardinals were able to do that.
Brad Thompson joining us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Brad, Ivan Herrera hitting under 200, Mason Wynn hitting under 200. 2 guys that have had success before with the plate, or at the plate, I should say. But are you picking up anything right now as a former pitcher, things that maybe they're trying to work on to iron out, or is it just a small sample size with these 2 guys? Because we both know they can hit.
I think they're 2 different things, right? Because Herrera has proven that he can hit at a very high level in the big leagues, and it was great to see him get that first home run of the year yesterday. But the one thing for him that really stands out is, while the hits aren't coming in bunches, he's getting on base at a crazy high clip. He's got 18 walks now. He walked again twice today, 2 walks, and then an intentional walk in this one. So he is knowing his zone very well. he is doing a really good job of trying to not expand it. The hits are going to come for him. I really believe that they're going to come. They're going to come quickly for Herrera. No worries there. And Wynn, I actually kind of like some of the at-bats that we've seen lately. He did have that hit up the middle. I'm sure you guys saw it in the 6th inning. He got a base hit up the middle, and he was celebrating and cheering. He's been in his own dome a lot. He expected a hotter start, being healthy with the knee surgery behind him. But I feel like the last couple of years for him, he's also realized that patience is the key, right? So it's going to be for him. Pitch selection is going to be very big for him as well, and just not trying to press. But those are two guys in the lineup, and especially with Herrera and his track record, that I'm not concerned about.
BT, J.J. Weatherholt coming into this season, in particular spring training, everybody talked about his discipline, his approach at the plate, and his ability to make contact and maybe be that leadoff guy, which he's shown he can be. But I didn't hear a whole lot about the defensive side of his game. Watching him play recently here, look, everybody has a couple of bumps in the road, but man, is he making some plays. Is this what he's profiled to be, a defensive guy like that as well?
Dude, Jamie, how about that play he made yesterday? That leaping stab. I didn't know. I had no idea that he had that kind of hops in the bag. We were talking to Ollie about that before the game today, and he said, "Yeah, look, they've been coming up, and it's not like he's been in the organization a long time. This guy fast tracked to the big leagues, but they've loved the athleticism. The range has checked in very well over at second base, and one of the biggest things, and I know we've talked about this, that they tasked him with is, hey, you got to get better with the backhand at second. It's just a different route, and it's a different, routine, and he's worked crazy hard on that. He's been good. Like, everything about his game right now you love. You love the instincts. You love the aggressiveness. He's got base stealing ability. The 2-home run day yesterday was awesome. 3 walks in the ball game today, plus a sacrifice fly to bring in a run. Like, J.J. Weatherholt checks every single one of the boxes, and he hasn't even got hot yet at the bat. So, yeah, that defensively, I feel like that has ticked up even more than most expected, certainly for me, more than I expected. And I got a feeling we got a chance to see a pretty good double play combo up the middle with he and Wynn for quite some time.
BT, great stuff as always. Appreciate it. Thanks for your hard work today and for joining us immediately afterwards to break it all down. We appreciate you, brother.
Guys, anytime. Time to get on a plane. We'll go to Houston. Hopefully some more fun stuff to talk about next week.
No kidding. Yeah, the Astros off to a slow start thus far, so maybe the Cardinals can jump on them too.
Roughing it. They got hit with the injury bug, too. Lost 3 starters in the last week, so we'll see. We'll see what the boys can do.
No doubt. No doubt. Thanks, BT.
All right, fellas. See ya.
That's Brad Thompson, 2006 World Series champion, of course, color analyst for the Cardinals TV network, alongside play-by-play man Chip Carey. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Why don't we do NFL 4 Downs Draft Edition next on 101 ESPN? then on 101 ESPN, Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's do a little NFL 4 Downs draft edition.
First down.
All right, gentlemen, which player in this year's draft has the highest upside?
For me, listen, I think Jeremiah Love is one of, if not the best player in this draft. It always depends on, where you end up going, what you have around you. If you are a running back and you don't have the capabilities of a pass game to help you, you're going to face, 8-man boxes. But I think Jeremiah Love has the most talent to have one of the better careers, depending on, where he ends up. But I think I also would like to say, maybe Fernando. In the right situation, surrounded by the right athletes, could be a really good situation for him as well.
I think those are the two most common ones. So I'll give you Caleb Downs. I think Caleb Downs could have himself a fantastic career. Just from a football IQ standpoint, I know that safeties don't necessarily make the biggest impacts, but I think Caleb Downs he played in an NFL defense at Ohio State.
Something strange about, you love him, I love him, but people aren't talking about him in the manner in which I think that they should be.
Because I think it's the position he plays. He's a safety. Teams get freaked out if it's a safety that, is being discussed in the top 10.
But the safety, it's the safety. It's the last line of defense. You are responsible for not getting beat over the top. You got to help your guys out. You got a lot of responsibilities and an extremely important position. I just find it interesting that people haven't been talking about him. They've talked more about Reese and Sonny Styles, his teammates, lately than they have of him. And I think had he came out last year, I don't know what it is about Caleb Downs that people aren't speaking so highly of, because I think he's an outstanding football player.
I do too.
I think some of the teams aren't saying much right now because they're trying to steal him. I read something about the Raiders that are looking at some of those guys in those positions, and they wouldn't really name names or players that they're looking at.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't mean the media and I can't talk about these guys.
Agreed, Jamie. 100%.
I don't know.
Don't be a fool on draft night.
Don't be a fool.
Go ahead, Marsh.
Second down.
All right. The Raiders have been getting calls about the first pick. Could we see any surprising moves or trades?
No. At least not at number 1.
They can't afford to not have a quarterback.
They got a quarterback.
Well, they got a quarterback,
They
Jamie.
paid him good money,
They got a quarterback. I don't like how you're talking about Kirky football
They
like
got
that.
a guy.
No, they can't afford not to have a quarterback.
I know, and CD and I are saying they have
a guy.
their quarterback.
And I'm saying they need to get a quarterback.
Let me throw out a scenario
It's the
to
reason
you.
the Falcons drafted Penix after signing.
And what
Kirky
happened?
Football.
And what happened?
Kirky Blake. He's playing with the
last 2 years. No playoffs for the Falcons. All right. Had they stuck with Kirky football,
Eventually,
I don't know about that.
great things would have happened. Now,
he's not wrong.
was he one of the worst quarterbacks in ever, Bob? For about a 4 or 5 week stretch 2 years ago? Yeah.
He's working some things out.
But he was working some things out. Okay?
There's that offense he couldn't figure out.
It's too complicated for him. Good luck, Baker Mayfield.
I don't think that they will trade either, but I do find it intriguing. If I'm the Jets, I'm giving up just about everything I can. You're the second pick. You swap places with them.
They got Geno.
You did. Yeah, but I'm trying to trade.
What's wrong with that, Carey?
Trying to trade up if I'm the Jets, man.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be an intrigue. I do think that there will be some trades in this upcoming draft, some players, some swap picks, some things that always happens every year. I always find it intriguing to see who goes when that team moves up in the draft. Who are they so eager to draft? Like the Falcons last year, they traded away first round pick to move up. And the Rams were like, you want what for who?
Go for it.
Say less.
That guy's going to be in jail in a year.
I don't know that they knew that. I don't think any of us knew that. But the Rams were more than willing. It was the Rams, right? It was the Rams that, they were more than willing. The Eagles were the ones that said, they did what?
Yeah, it was
Howie Roseman. He's like, who did?
Who, by the way, is the best GM in the league. When Howie Roseman's like, no wonder I couldn't make a deal. The Falcons were giving up that. Terry Fontenot, former GM now, the Falcons no longer employed.
That didn't work.
I'm shocked.
Why is that?
I could see the Rams making some moves because of those 2 first-round picks, and I could also see the Chiefs making a move.
Yeah.
They're not going to be drafted in the top 10 again. Like, I could see them going up. And
you think they're going to try to move up?
I don't know what for. I don't know what they would be looking for. They could also just sit and pick and take their next tight end of the future, or like you mentioned, they go up a couple of spots and take the OT. And there's a couple of guys. There's 3 offensive tackles that can go in the top 10. Mm-hmm. So, fire away, Marshy.
Third down.
Carey, you brought him up, but Jeremiah Love, how do you see CBC's Jeremiah Love being selected? How high and how far could you see him falling on draft night?
I don't see him. If he gets past Tennessee, I can see the Giants taking him. But I think Tennessee is the spot for him. I think that's where a lot of the mock drafts have him slated. I know prior to the Chiefs getting Kenneth Walker in free agency, some people thought that maybe he could slide back to number 9 and end up in Kansas City. But I think Tennessee at number 4 overall would be a great spot for him. I don't see him going any higher than that. If you get to number 6 and if he makes it to number 6, somebody might be willing to move up with the Browns because they did a fantastic job last year of drafting. I think they did a fantastic job of drafting last year. Maybe Washington wants to move up 1 spot just to solidify that opportunity to draft him. No, the Browns ain't going to draft him. But you don't want anybody else to move up in front of you to take him. So I could see him anywhere from 4 to 7 where the Washington Commanders are.
Nailed it. That's where I'm at, too. I think Tennessee, if they don't take him at 4, I don't think he slides past Washington at 7. So that's where I'm at, too. 4-7.
Fourth down.
What position is most overvalued by NFL teams in the first round?
I think it's wide receivers. I see it all the time in these mock drafts. Like, the what you can do for your young quarterback. They have to get this guy a wide receiver. What about an offensive line and a defense? Overrated. Like I saw somebody write that with, how can you not, if you're Washington, take a wide receiver for Jaden Daniels?
Okay. They got a lot of things, but they do.
It's exciting. Do they need a number 2 wide receiver? Yes, they do. But is that number 7 overall worthy?
I don't think that is. I think if Jeremiah Love is still sitting there, you take him. I don't know that Carnell Tate would be more, or Mekhi Lemon would be more exciting or more beneficial for your offense than a running back like Jeremiah Love.
Speaking of Carnell Tate, I saw one of the mocks have, and this is like a national writer too. If you're the Jets, you have to take Carnell Tate at number 2. You have got to add more playmakers. What?
Or add
stuff that's going to help you win football games. Just my thought. So I think wide receiver is often overvalued.
I think quarterback,
in the first round.
I think quarterback can be. I think sometimes people stretch
good one too.
And reach for a quarterback because it's a quarterback-driven league, and you need to have that signal caller, that play caller, to be able to really do anything have any type of success. But it's not always just because he's there doesn't mean he should be a first-round draft pick. And I think Ty Simpson kind of falls in that conversation. If he were coming out next year, he's probably not even considered for a first-round draft pick spot. But right now, because it is a limited position in this year's draft, he might end up being a first-round draft pick, and you may be overreaching for him.
Marcia, do we still need a contestant for the Gauntlet, or did you find somebody?
I did text somebody to let them know that they had been chosen for the Gauntlet, but maybe this person doesn't text back, so just text in Gauntlet.
314-399-9646. You never know. All right, we'll play the Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN.
categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
407, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. We'll welcome in Ricky to the Gauntlet. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. Appreciate you joining us, man. Thank you for listening. Would you like to take on Marsh, CD, Jamie, or me in round 1 of the Gauntlet?
Let's try Marsh today.
Oh, wow. So peek behind the curtain here. Marsh was saying that he hasn't played in, nearly a month?
Almost a month, yeah.
Wow. So, Ricky, I think you just made Marsh's day.
All right.
There you go. All right. So before we kick Marsh out of here, why don't you go ahead and tell him to spin the wheel?
Spin that wheel, Marsh.
All right. So the wheel has been spun. Marsh, why don't you get out of here? Ricky, you hoping for a certain category?
Yeah, but I'm not going to say.
Nice. Regular listener, boys. He knows. Now, sometimes if you just think the topic, the wheel will also know. So now that it's done spinning, let me see here. What category did you want?
Baseball.
What category did you not want?
Hockey.
Oh, man. So you were thinking hockey, weren't you?
Yep.
Yeah, you were.
Ricky, remember that scene in
Ghostbusters
where they say, don't think of anything, and then all of a sudden the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is wreaking havoc?
This is what happened.
This is what happens when you think it.
All right, so you did get hockey. Sorry. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, those questions become worth 1 point. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Jonathan Quick is retiring from the NHL after 19 seasons. He led the Kings to Stanley Cup championships in 2012 and 2024, 2012 and 2014, and has a ring from the 2023 Stanley Cup as a backup for which team?
2023.
I'll simplify it. I'll simplify it for you, Ricky, because this is a wordy question. If you remember who won the 2023 Stanley Cup, then you know this question.
I'm just going to say the Rangers.
Final answer?
Yes, final answer.
Question number 2. Whose .920 save percentage leads all goalies with 40 or more starts?
Options.
Is it Scott Wedgwood, Jake Ottinger, or Igor Shesterkin?
Bless you.
Thank you.
I'm going to go Wedgwood. Final answer.
Question number 3. The Blues had a season-high scoring output in Tuesday's 7-5 win over Pittsburgh, topping the previous high of 6 goals reached against Minnesota, Anaheim, and who else?
Options.
Is it the Chicago Blackhawks, the San Jose Sharks, or the Florida Panthers?
Go with the Blackhawks. Final answer.
All right, Ricky, last question. Jimmy Snuggerud now ranks 4th among rookies in goals, behind just Matthew Schaefer, Beckett, Senecki. Is that?
Senecki.
Senecki, thank you. And who else?
Take a shot and say Macklin Celebrini.
Okay.
I think he's a rookie. Final answer.
All right, let's bring back Marsh from the Cone of Silence. Ricky, how you feeling?
I have no idea.
Okay.
He's numb.
Okay.
He's numb. Yeah, I can feel it a little bit.
Fair. All fair. All right, Marsh is coming back in from the Cone of Silence here. He's ready to rock and or roll. Marsh, how was the Cone of Silence?
Oh, it was good. Just hanging out with Jordan. We were looking online and
Bennington?
Fanatics. No, not Jordan Bennington.
Cairo.
Nope.
Walker.
Nope. Jordan Deacon.
Oh, Jay Dizzle.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we call it Jay Dizzle.
Fanatics producing the Utah Mammoth, their playoff shirts and whatnot, and they spelled Utah wrong. So,
You're kidding me. How did they spell it?
UATH. So another win for Fanatics.
Wow. One job. Did they not have spell check on their computers?
Yoth. All right. Yoth. All right, Marsh, let's focus here. Your category today is hockey.
Oh, okay.
Back a lunch.
All right.
All right, Marsh, question 1. Jonathan Quick is retiring from the NHL after 19 seasons. He led the Kings to Stanley Cup championships in 2012 and 2014 and has a ring from the 2023 Stanley Cup championship as a backup for what team?
What team or what goalie?
What team?
The Vegas Golden Knights. Final answer.
Now what goalie?
Aiden Hill.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Question 2. Whose .920 save percentage leads all goalies with 40 or more starts?
I'm going to go with Logan Thompson. Final answer.
Question number 3. The Blues had a season-high scoring output in Tuesday's 7-5 win over Pittsburgh, topping the previous high of 6 goals reached against Minnesota, Anaheim, and who else?
6 goals, you say. So you said Anaheim, Minnesota, and then who else? Okay. Man, when did they score 6 goals? Let's take the options on this one.
Is it the Chicago Blackhawks, the San Jose Sharks, or the Florida Panthers?
Florida Panthers. Final answer.
And final question. Jimmy Snuggerud now ranks 4th among rookies in goals behind just Matthew Schaefer, Beckett, Sinecki, and who else?
Oh, jeez. I'm trying to think of rookies. Let's just take the options.
Linus Karlsson, Ryan Leonard, or Oliver Kapanen?
What was the first name?
Linus Karlsson.
Kapanen and
Leonard.
And Ryan Leonard.
Yep. Karlsson, Leonard, Kapanen.
I'll go with Kapanen. Final answer.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's go in reverse order, shall we? Ricky versus Marsh. Jimmy Snuggerud now ranks 4th among rookies in goals, behind just Matthew Schaefer, Beckett, Sinecki, and who else? Ricky, without the options, went with Macklin Celebrini. Marsh, with the options, went with Oliver Kapanen. Correct answer is
Oliver Kapanen.
Marsh up 1-0.
Not to be confused with Kasperi Kapanen.
No,
his brother.
who is not
Is it really? Yeah. Cool.
Rookie.
Oh, he got me. He got me.
The Blues had the Blues had a season high scoring output in Tuesday's 7-5 win over Pittsburgh, topping the previous high of 6 goals reached against Minnesota, Anaheim, and who? Ricky went with the Chicago Blackhawks. Marsh went with the Florida Panthers. Correct answer is
Florida Panthers.
Marsh now up 2-0 on Ricky. Whose .920 save percentage leads all goalies with 40 or more starts? Without the options, Marsh went with Logan Thompson. Ricky, with the options, went with Scott Wedgwood. Correct answer is
Old Wedgie himself.
Ricky on the board. We got a 2-1 difference here. between Ricky and Marsh. Final question. Jonathan Quick is retiring from the NHL after 19 seasons. He led the Kings to Stanley Cup championships in 2012 and 2014 and has a ring from 2023 as a backup for which team? Ricky, without the options, said the New York Rangers. Marshy, without the options, went with the Vegas Golden Knights. Ricky.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
Correct answer is
the Vegas Golden Knights.
That's right. Ricky, he got you 4-1 today. You didn't feel good about hockey. You didn't want hockey. The wheel, ultimate jerk today, and gave you hockey. I'm sorry, man.
I'm embarrassed of my Rangers answer.
Don't you dare.
It happened.
Hey,
Don't you dare.
It feels 1994 feels like yesterday.
All over again.
Don't worry about it, Ricky.
All right. Fair enough.
Ricky, trust me on this. There have been dumber answers, either read or given.
Oh, man, yeah.
In the gauntlet.
We're all guilty.
Yeah.
Every single one of us. Yeah. So don't you dare hang your head today, all right?
All right. Thanks, guys.
Good
job, Ricky.
Right. See you,
Thanks
Ricky.
a lot, man. Have a great day.
Or you too. Bye.
Sometimes you get listening. You find when you're listening, but you're not participating. Then you get on, and it's like, oh, wow.
I think sometimes panic sets
in.
Like, in his head immediately, he's a backup goalie. Well, he's a backup goalie for the Rangers. And not
sure.
Remember.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and he wasn't thinking about that.
He didn't think, and then probably answered. And then when he heard the question again, Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
No.
I noticed you didn't even ask for the final.
Well, I knew you knew.
Yeah.
As soon as you said back up to the goalie or the team, and you gave both.
Just random guesses, of course.
Yeah, just completely
clearly.
Random. Yep. All right, nice shot, Marsh.
Thanks, guys.
No rust.
No rust, just rest.
Yeah, as a rust versus rest question, clearly. Rest for Marsh.
Rest can be a weapon.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, we're going to do our sports six-pack next.
Someone said that one time.
314-399-9646. I don't think so.
That was sex is a weapon.
Sure is.
It's a song, isn't it?
By who?
I don't know.
How you asking
Beach
me?
Boys? Probably. Sure. Backstreet Boys, maybe.
I don't know. Why do you say them? Go to break, Anthony.
Sports Six-Pack Part 1 next on 101 ESPN.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
Refreshed by Urban Chestnut. Urban Chestnut's Swickle Light Premium Light Beer. Live your lifestyle, St. Louis.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter, and our guy Andrew Marsh on the dials. It is time for the Sports Six-Pack. Let's go.
Question number 1.
All right. I like this question from the 636. How high would Jimmy Snuggerud go if there was a 2022 redraft?
Ew, I'd have to go back and look at that. I hate those questions. You know I don't like the draft questions. But
My bad.
Let's see here. Probably higher than he went. Let's see here. 2022 NHL entry draft. So Slavkovsky went number 1. I don't think, yes, you're welcome. I don't think he's going higher than him. Nemec, maybe. Logan Cooley, tough cutter coach. There's some serious players on this list. Where did Jimmy go here ultimately? 23rd? He would have went top 10. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to go top 10 for this one. Carey, your thoughts?
Whatever. Yeah, I agree with you.
Good call.
I didn't think Slavkovsky was a...
He's a moose, too. He's a hell of a player, too.
Wasn't that pick sort of looked at funny at the time?
Very much so. Because Shane Wright, who ended up going to Seattle, everybody thought he was a shoo-in for first overall. They talked about him all year. And then Montreal got their scouting meetings and were like, I'm not sold on this kid. Let's take this big moose kid right here out of Finland. And it's paid off. He's great. Yeah. That team in Montreal has got youth. They've got talent. They've got size. They've got toughness. That series between the Canadians and the Lightning is going to be awesome. You see their last game? They played against each other? There's like 2 separate 5-on-5 brawls. I mean, it's going to be fun, man.
I remember specifically where I was when I was listening to the Montreal Brass, talking about how much they hated that pick. I was on Highway K driving by your favorite gym.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember
Club
specifically Club Fitness.
Club Elite now.
Hey,
Club Elite.
The locker room throw is too dark in there. What are we doing? What are we trying to set the mood? The blue light. I won't be able to see what's going on in here for myself. You know what I mean?
What are you trying to look at in there, Carey?
I'm trying to get the locker. It's just
trying to figure it out.
It's like a club.
What are you trying to see, Carey?
It's like a club in there, man. It's dark.
That's what it's called, Club Elite.
Club Elite, yeah. I'm still trying to figure out what are you trying to see?
I got to see my lock combination. I got to be able to open said lock. I don't want to leave anything in the locker. It's extremely dark in there.
I've been in there.
It is dark in there, man.
Dark.
It's dark in there.
I've been in darker places.
I know you have. You were born in the darkness.
What the hell are you getting involved for?
I mean, Jamie, doesn't get much darker than death. You know what I mean?
Sure, there was no light either.
Yeah.
It was just dark. Tough day. But, yeah.
Maybe it's from all that smoke that was in the room, from that cigarette that the doctor was smoking.
That he was putting out on my liver.
Yeah.
They're saying in their native language, why are you doing that? It doesn't matter. He's dead.
Yeah. Talking about a guy that would die for the logo.
Yeah, really.
That one,
what
too.
logo? Yeah, what
the old
logo?
Memphis Czech Bears. I'm a bear for life, baby.
God, that's incredible. Jamie literally died for the Bears.
You take the man out of Zagreb, but you can't take the Zagreb out of the man.
I've been told that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Never heard that, actually. First for me.
Anyways, fire away, Marsh.
Question number 2.
Wow. All right, from the 314, does getting drafted by the right team mean the most in football as opposed to any other sport?
I would say so. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think if you go to any poorly run organization,
yes,
it doesn't matter how good you are, because you're not going to have they can draft you and not draft anyone else to assist you or bring in other free agents that are going to aid in your career growth. I think any sport is detrimental.
Right, but Marsh read the question and it said most.
I don't know.
So you guys got to start listening at some point, okay?
I've been here for 3 years now, and
I think you should listen starting now. Okay. It's not, is it detrimental in sports? That was the case, Carey and Jamie. I would agree with you, but it was the most.
How do you equate most detrimental?
Because I've seen lots of players in the sport of hockey drafted by the wrong team, and they never amount to crap.
Yeah.
Or then they go to the next team, and they're great because they're used properly.
Yeah.
I don't know about your theory, Anthony.
I don't know about it either. I'm wondering why you would...
More positions in football.
More opportunities
systems,
to get it right.
More systems in football, so more could go wrong. I'm saying football.
But the question is,
every time I ask Jamie about systems in hockey, he goes, "Well, there's only a handful. I mean, it's hockey. There's only 3."
Football's the same thing.
They all run the same thing.
Yeah,
no, it is. It's power. It's inside zone, outside zone. It's either gap or zone schemes in the running game.
4-3,
4-3. Like it. Tell him, Jamie.
Yeah,
he's a football guy. He knows. He's been paying attention.
What the hell's wrong with you?
It's all
more teammates that you have to which to rely upon.
Or right.
More people to help you.
That's what I would say.
All I'm saying is you guys are fools. Want me to wrap it up there, Marshy? I'll wrap it up. Don't you worry. Wow. Wrap it up real tight.
Should.
Sports Six Pack, Part 2, next on 101 ESPN. Yep. It's funny, Jamie and I were just talking about the time that he went into the break room and messed up a wall that had just been put up. And you know what? The wall shouldn't have been there, but you know who could have handled it for him? Mosby Building Arts. Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company. They wouldn't have just put up the new wall because, of course, they could handle drywall, no problem, but they probably would have redesigned the entire break room for us and made it look spectacular. Mosby Building Arts are fantastic. And right now, throughout the month of April, and you want to make sure that you get on this because it's tax day. It's April 15th, right? Get the taxes coming back, maybe get a refund, and you're looking to redo the bathroom. Great. Call Mosby. The offer ends April 30th. So, again, you want to make sure that you jump on this. But at Mosby, during the month of April, when you remodel your bathroom, you get free plumbing fixtures. So that's your sink faucet, your shower faucet, shower head, even toilet, all included in the bathroom remodel. The small details, they make up the big difference in terms of how your bathroom looks, feels, functions every day. You're not just upgrading that space. Trust me on this. You're getting more value built right in. So, again, throughout the month of April, the offer ends April 30th at Mosby Building Arts. You don't have to have the entire bathroom remodel done. You just have to be on the books. Give them a call, 314-909-1800, or visit callmosby.com. Throughout the month of April at Mosby, remodel your bathroom. You get all the free plumbing fixtures, your sink faucet, shower head, even the toilet. Again, that phone number, 314-909-1800, or call mosby.com. You get that free brainstorming session. Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals pick up a victory today over the Cleveland Guardians to improve to 10-8 on the year. 5-3 the final. We talked earlier today with Brad Thompson. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and all of our shows there. It's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. We have part 2 of a Sports Six-Pack coming up next, so get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We will answer your questions next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
I have a question. It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
Refreshed by Urban Chestnut. Urban Chestnut Swickle Light Premium Light Beer. Live your lifestyle, St. Louis.
Time for part 2 of the Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jay Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Marshy, fire away.
Question number 3.
All right, the 636 wants to know. I posed this question years ago and want to know if viewpoints changed. Can you wear different brands together? Nike and Reebok, Under Armour shirt and Nike shoes, Adidas socks. No way. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I think it's pretty hard to dedicate yourself to one brand. Like are we taking shoes into consideration? Because there's times I'll wear, like a Under Armour t-shirt, but I'm not wearing Under Armour shoes that day. I'm wearing like Adidas or Nike. So I think that's probably more acceptable. If you're going like the whole, I don't know, like a Nike hat, Adidas shirt, Under Armour shorts, I think that can be a little busy.
You're all logoed up.
Yeah. Commit to maybe one brand each day, a different day. But I'm not gonna be mad at you if you're wearing a Reebok t-shirt and a little pair of shorts that has a little swoosh on it,
For me,
Carey's face.
Go ahead, Carey.
You better be wearing a Nike t-shirt then too.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, no, you're not.
I don't have my shirt doesn't have a name on it.
Exactly.
Like
but
right
I'm
now,
saying it doesn't. It also doesn't say Adidas.
It doesn't
See
say
that
anything.
shoe?
it says Adidas.
Yeah, I taught him that. Yes, I think. Yeah, you got big logos on multiple body parts that are differing. I think that's a bit much. You're a walking advertisement and you don't know what you're advertising.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Actually, my wife Kristen's all about that too. She's like, let's stop with all the name brand stuff. I don't need to advertise for you. I like the clothes. Great, I'm gonna buy them, but I don't need to be a walking billboard. She's all about that.
Yeah, Ashley said that one time for me, so I just got naked instead.
That's good. Yeah, I promote myself. Is
Yeah, I
what
was
she
like,
said.
how about that logo?
Yeah,
That better?
She's like, oh, Jamie, here.
She says, I'd die for that logo.
I don't think so.
I think that's what she said.
I don't think.
I mean, that's what I heard.
Carey, we both know Ashley. I don't think she's saying that. Yeah, I don't think so. Anyways, I don't care, but I have found like when I'm getting the kids like ready for a sports event or something like that, like Killian, if he's got a soccer game or something, and he's got, I don't know, Adidas socks, and I'm grabbing shorts, and it's like, I can't go Nike here for my man. I got to go Adidas for him.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't care.
Like right now, I have a Nike, shirt or whatever you call this, long sleeve, in the Nike pants on. But I have Hey Dudes on. I don't consider those to be like competing.
I think the shoes are exempt because
I do too.
Not everybody has like 1,200 pairs of shoes to match up every day.
Right. Yeah.
You think that's tacky?
So what? What specifically?
Just like let's say I was wearing Nike head to toe right now.
And you had Reebok shoes on?
No, just all Nike.
Yeah,
is that tacky too?
You know what, Marshy? I want you to be you. Okay.
Oh, I am going to be me. I'm going to wear whatever I want.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know if I'd notice, but I'm also not the Best judge of that.
I'm going to care.
You guys aren't fashion people?
No.
You're not going to watch Devil Wears Prada 2 coming out?
I might
later
watch
in
that.
the year.
I might watch that.
The first one was good.
The first one's really good, yeah.
I refused to watch it forever. Then somebody, I think Ashley made me watch it. I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
It was a really
good
movie.
Yeah.
Well, what Stanley
Meryl
Tucci is
Streep.
hilarious.
He is funny. He's really good in any role. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead, Marsh.
Question number 4.
All right, from the 636, what's the smartest thing the Blues can do in this upcoming offseason?
Find takers for certain contracts.
Rest and recover. It's a long season.
What? It's the smartest thing. That's what they're going to do anyways.
That's why it's the smartest thing.
Make sure you get your rest, boys.
Rest and recover.
Got another season in a couple months.
It's going to feel like tomorrow.
Rest is a weapon, right? Didn't we learn that last segment?
That's Guy Boucher, by the way.
Yeah. And you found the
called me out
song.
on that. You said, "Nah, nobody said that." Guy Boucher said it.
I found the song too.
It's Bobby Boucher, and he played linebacker for the Mud Dogs.
Yeah, man, rest and recover. Most important thing you can do.
All right.
You work your body so much, man. You got to rest and get ready mentally. Like the physical, obviously it's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
But that noggin, you got to rest that. You got to mentally recover from such a long and grueling season. I know you played lights out the last 2 games, right? You have. You got one more, finish strong, and then shut it down. Jamie, you know about the rest and recovery method.
Yeah, I really don't. I probably should have used it more often.
See?
I think the biggest thing they can do is to find that second line center. And like you said, Anthony, if there are contracts that you no longer want on your roster, find a way to move on from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One in particular. Go ahead, Marshy.
Or 2.
Not happen. So quit asking.
Question number 5.
From the 636, who were the best players you guys ever played with that were not stars? So like under the radar type players. And for me and you, Anthony, did you guys play with anyone who went pro and or became stars?
Under the radar.
We're talking high school, college, pros.
Probably pro.
Probably pro.
Something that people could recognize. Ray Whitney played with him in Detroit. They called him the Wizard. He's just kind of an unassuming player out there, and then you play with him, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, this guy's really good. Really good player. Quality.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of like someone you wouldn't know that was, because if they were that good, they generally played.
Yeah, but on good teams, on championship teams,
Yeah.
like on the Steelers, the year you guys won the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
or even in that era.
Okay.
Right? There's a player that, like Big Ben, he got
Right.
all the accolades.
Right.
Like, name your Troy Polamalu, but is there somebody who was kind of in the background that, like, this team couldn't do it without that
Well,
guy,
I think
too?
for us, Nate Washington was that for us. He was our third receiver behind Hines and Santonio. And then he got a huge contract when he went to Tennessee. So Nate would probably be that guy. Nate, undrafted guy out of Tiffin College in Ohio, but just a baller. Like Nate could go. So probably Nate Washington.
I didn't play with anybody that went pro or became a star. Played on the same high school team as a kid named Andrew Clark that went to Toledo and was like a Mackey finalist as a tight end at Toledo. But that was it. I don't know if I faced anybody in baseball that went pro.
I played against Kareem Rush in AAU basketball. And when I tell you at 13, man, he was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Kareem Rush was the real deal. Played for the Lakers. Like, he was at 13, left-handed. We like, man, this guy's he's going to be really good one day. He's in the NBA.
Worked out.
Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can tell. Sometimes you can't.
Yeah, man, you could tell at 13 he was different.
So same high school team too. Not many people know this name, but OJ Oshinawa. He played for Stanford. He was a defensive tackle, and then I think he was drafted by the Bears, and maybe a 6th-round pick, or maybe he was a practice squad guy. But that was it.
Marshall, what about you? You had that AAA Blues team.
Yeah. I actually played baseball and hockey with Jake Berger.
Yeah.
Who plays in Major League Baseball right now.
Former White Sox, third baseman.
You know, our our team growing up was actually really good in hockey, but it was actually the 97 team that produced all the NHL guys. So.
Yeah, but you had a couple of kids go play college and
they
stuff.
They did, yeah. They played college, so they had great careers and whatnot. But
can you name those kids? Give them a little something on the radio here.
Ryan McInnes, of course, son of Al McInnes. Yep. Bradley Johnson, I believe he went to Bemidji.
He did.
Charlie Combs played at a few different schools.
Charlie's
also played
still
at Bemidji.
playing pro over in Europe right now.
Played at Michigan State as well. Ryan Norman, who was from Minnesota, came here to play a little bit, and then he played at the University of Minnesota. Who else? Alex Jasic. I believe he went to...
Jerry Jasic used to work for the Blues. Used to sign my paychecks.
How about that? Yeah. Jerry. There's a few different guys. Drew Vogler went to Merrimack, who actually went to the tournament this year, and they played North Dakota, ironically. There's a few guys on that team that had really good college careers, and then pro as well. I played against a few different guys. Didn't know at the time, but looking back now, you kind of look, you're like, oh my gosh, like I remember that guy. He's in the NHL now. So a couple different people for sure.
Cool.
Excellent. Cool, man.
One more question.
Why not?
Let's go. Question number 6.
All right, Bill and Ted on Broadway. I feel like we've answered this question before, but maybe there's a new answer for it. If a Fastlane movie was made, what actor would play each of you?
Ice Cube.
Yeah, that's probably pretty good. Yeah.
For Marshy?
No.
For me.
Oh.
Or The Rock. I mean,
Sure,
Ice Cube's probably better. I don't know. Who the hell?
Damn it, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby. I could see Marshy being one of those, the Hemsworth boys.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
One of those guys.
Yep. Could you see Thor behind the board?
You could, with a haircut.
It would be like his role in the Ghostbusters movie. Back, he's got a little lens in his glasses.
I can't say I watched that one, but
it's funny.
Who we pick for Anthony? Like a younger Robert De Niro, I could see that.
I like
Robert
that.
De Niro, yeah,
Bobby De Niro for you.
That'd be fun.
See that. Not now, of course.
A little bit old.
Text line is, let's see what they say. What do they have?
Jim Carrey.
We got to
Jim
find
Carrey.
Jeff Daniels. I got both dumb and dumber.
What about Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Who's that?
Who's Kim Coates? Oh, I know who that is.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in, he's in a lot of different things, but I think people will know him from The Walking Dead.
For who? Jamie or you?
For you.
Oh, for me.
Yeah.
Albatross. I like this one. St. Louis's own John Hamm.
Oh, yeah.
Could do that.
I like that.
That'd be great.
Take that one.
For Jamie.
I don't know. People are sending some funny ones here.
Somebody said Ralph Macchio for you.
Nah.
I don't think so.
Anthony's too manly for that.
I appreciate that, Jamie.
I'll be honest. Like, he's kind of like
not macho.
Hey, he's got a smaller frame and,
314 says Jamie would be Billy Bob Thornton. Bad News Bears, Billy Bob.
Bad Santa, Billy Bob.
Probably the behavior. I don't really see.
I don't know.
I've met Billy Bob Thornton, and he's a little big guy.
He's thin.
He wears
he wears women's jeans
because they
men's
fit better.
jeans don't fit him as good.
Yeah.
So not Jamie.
I don't think.
No.
Like from a physical standpoint.
No. Right.
I don't see that one.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh well,
These are good ones.
I guess we'll workshop it.
Yeah, we will. Somebody said Bill Murray. I don't know who that was intended for, but
Bill Fastlane Murray.
Bill Fastlane Murray.
Who's Justin Bateman?
There's a Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman, his brother.
Deadpool guy. Who's that?
That's Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, okay.
Well, unless Ryan Reynolds.
That would be you.
He's also Canadian though, so that would be that'd be Jamie.
Yeah.
Did you know that Jason Bateman was in Teen Wolf 2? You remember Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox?
Teen Wolf 2, so successful.
Teen Wolf 2, I believe Jason Bateman was in that movie. He was a boxer, if I'm not mistaken.
Sean Connery, I'll take that.
Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we did it. Nice job, guys. Way to go. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. I was trying to look up.
Look up Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He's got a sweet beard.
All right. I'll do that in the break. I won't do that. All right. Is it more important than ever to have two solid goaltenders in the NHL? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, I was at the gym the other day, right? And I was telling you, I've been going regularly. I feel much better. Guy tapped me on the shoulder. Hey, I don't want to bother you. Hey, yeah, I heard you talking about mentality. It work? I'm like, it sure does. You see me in here often, and it's because mentality has been helping me get in here, get off my butt, have the energy to not be too tired to do so. Whether it's before work or after work, I feel great, and I've been going pretty much every day to the gym.
You know, it's great, too. Sometimes you run into people that you know, and you're like, oh, hey, I didn't know you. Like, there's a dad, Madeline goes to a dance studio, and I saw one of the dads from, the dance studios that was in mentality. I'm like, oh, you too? Great.
Right.
Mentality's program is fantastic. If you're getting older, guys, even if you're not, CD, you and I are still pretty young, right? In our mid-40s, right? But the testosterone levels start to dip. You start to feel things like lack of energy, even just your mood being all over the place. And I've noticed that maybe even more than anything, just kind of my mood being stabilized so that when either I'm at work or at home or dealing with the kids, I'm more patient, more kind. And when it comes to the gym, well, now I'm more violent, right, CD?
Indeed.
And that's what you want to be inside that gym if you're going to throw around those weights. Mentality's helped with both.
It definitely has. And if you are maybe not feeling the edge that you once had, it could be your age, but it might not be. It could be low testosterone. You get in there, they'll talk to you about testosterone treatment. They'll talk to you about peptide treatment, and they run real labs and get you squared away. So if you want to feel better, want to feel that edge back in your life, schedule a visit at Mentality today at lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Fastlane on 101 ESPN. So, March, you had a thought on goaltenders. Double goaltenders. 2.
At the same time?
At the same time?
Yep. Well, no, that's actually can't do that.
That's
but
illegal.
Marsh, you know what? Why don't I let you explain it?
Yeah, I was talking with my buddies last night, playing little video games, playing a little NHL, and we were just talking about goaltending, and one of my buddies brought up that there have been less shots on net this year, and that the save percentage, and ironically we had a save percentage question in the Gauntlet, that the save percentage for the NHL is the lowest it has ever been in like 3 decades. So this article that I found on ESPN says that the average save percentage is under 900 for the first time in 3 decades, and 896, and that was heading into last night's slate of games, is on track to be the lowest since 1994. So I'm like, man, that's crazy. Like, why is that? And there were 4 major talking points for this specific article, and one of them were shots are down across the NHL and players are selective with their shots. And I think we can relate to that with how many times we have asked the Blues players to shoot the puck more. Another one is sports gambling could also be a factor. You see some scorekeepers, they take away shots after a game, and I'm sure our bettors out there have noticed that. Slimmer equipment, could that be taking a toll on it? And then goalies also have some work to do. And that was the one thing that I thought of. Okay, if the goalies aren't playing as good as maybe they used to, isn't it that much more important to have 2 solid goaltenders? I know we talked yesterday about the idea of Jordan Binnington going somewhere else if the Blues elect to trade him. But now I'm starting to think, maybe it is better to have 2 reliable goaltenders on your team, especially with where the state of the NHL is right now in between the pipes.
Yeah, I would think so. Jamie, this goes back to the conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, when we were discussing the lack of depth overall for goaltenders around the league and whether or not the Blues would just be better off to keep both Binnington and Joel Hofer. But as we've discussed over the last couple of days, Binnington is likely to seek other opportunities. So you might, even if you wanted to keep both guys, you might be screwed. If there's other teams around the league that face the same thing, same problem, I think it's a luxury. It also might be something where you can't retain both guys because the value is too good for the second guy. You may get more for him than what the market would dictate.
Yeah, look, I'd love for the Blues to keep both goalies, but let's just play it out. You keep Binnington and Hofer because Binnington has another year in his contract. He has no say. He can ask for a trade. You do not have to trade him. Mm-hmm. He has, I think next year he'll have like a 14 or 15 team no trade list. So he can say no to a lot of the teams. But if you want to hang on to him and you do the tandem thing, then you lose him eventually because he's an unrestricted free agent. So now you've held on to a goalie that, yes, has helped your team, we think, in theory.
Sure.
Because we don't know, I can't tell the future. And now you've gotten nothing for said goalie.
Right.
So I don't know what, or even if you wait to the deadline and try to move him, what if he doesn't have a great season? Or what if he's, knock on wood, what if he's hurt at the time of the deadline?
Don't you dare.
And now you get absolutely nothing for this player. I mean, it's a risk you can take, but to me, I'm only taking that risk if I think my team is Stanley Cup ready. Because if my team is ready to compete for a Stanley Cup, I'm going to damn well make sure I have a goalie, one of them, if not both of them, that I can put in with confidence. Because what happens if one of them tweaks a groin or something? One of them goes through a cold stretch. You got the other one.
Sure.
Door number 2, please, thanks, we're good. We're still rolling through this like a machine.
Mm-hmm.
The Blues aren't in that spot.
Not yet.
Well, then, they won't be in that spot next year.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah, well, I can tell you for a fact that they probably won't be. So I don't know how much sense it makes to not explore a trade opportunity with a team and see what you can get for it.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
That's the only thing I think of. And as far as the beginning of this segment, yeah, teams are teams are not funneling pucks to the net like they used to because they're realizing that shots from all over the place don't equal goals.
Yeah.
Talking to Davey Alexander, who is the goaltending guru for the Blues, but also a goal-scoring guru. Because as a goaltending guy, you have to know how people are scoring goals, where they're scoring them from, why they're scoring said goals. And I had a great conversation with him, and he talked about, you have to find the grade A or the grade B opportunities. The grade D ones from the corner or from the wall on net just to put pucks on net are now considered to be turnovers and bad plays.
Sure.
So teams are not just firing pucks at the net. The gambling sites, that has changed a lot too. For certain shots on goal and whatnot. And the analytics department for the NHL, they went back last year and retallied shots. They retallied hits for certain players. They added hits for guys, took hits away from other guys. Like, they are managing it way more strict than they ever have.
Sure.
So that, to me, is what's contributing to the lower save percentage. Is when a guy gets an opportunity to score a goal, he's in a great spot.
By the way, I said scorekeepers. The 636 says shot tracking from statisticians. My bad. Meant the stat guys.
Well, there you go.
Because I know stats and facts, so we got to give a shout out to the stat guys.
Yeah, you're darn right. Yep. Okay. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got the biggest question of the day next. When it comes to our guy Stewie, he's always helping out his clients. And when I say helping out, it often has to do with saving them money, Jamie. And it could be from a loan, that they got for the home, and they want to make sure that they're putting the right bid together to make that purchase for their home, their dream home, saving the money up front to maybe do a remodel. Maybe it's just saving money when it comes to some debt that has collected. Either way, Stewie's there. He'll a lot of times help you out beyond your own expectations.
Yeah, and all of these things that you just talked about, especially when it comes to money and finances, they're stressful. They are. And you're constantly looking for somebody that you can ask questions to that's going to have your best interest at hand, and that's Stewie. That's exactly what he does. He calms people down, and he relieves most of the stress. It's still going to be stressful. We understand that. But what he tries to do is get you to a place where you're not feeling that stress, and that's what makes him so valuable is his customer service and what he actually does for the customer. So pick up the phone, call or text his actual cell phone. That number's 314-324-4440.
Again, 314-324-4440.
He's our guy. We want him to be your guy. Tell him when you text him or call him that Jamie and Anthony sent you, and he loves to hear that. If you can't remember anything that we just said or that number,
Google the Bagel Loan.
NMLS number 226715.
Fastlane's biggest question of the day. Presented by Banner Construction, the experts in James Hardy siding.
508, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. It's the biggest question of the day, and Carey, you thought that this question was probably appropriate given today's day.
Man, today is an important day in our society, and if you don't know how important it is, good luck to you, brother, sister. Yeah, it's tax day.
Got till midnight.
You got till tonight to file those taxes, get them taken care of, and so I was just wondering, Jamie, I know you pay taxes. You're a good American citizen, right?
Have I ever paid taxes?
How are you feeling about tax time, fellas? Excited?
I feel better about tax time these days than I did before.
Tell me why. Tell me more.
Because the more you make, the more you pay. And when we were playing in professional sports, and you take a look at the amount of money that you have paid back to the government, wow. It hurts.
For me, my first year as an NFL player, and the tax guy was like, yeah, you got to pay taxes in Ohio and in Minnesota.
Everywhere.
And I'm like, what? I don't live there.
Everywhere.
No, but you worked there and you played there, and therefore you got to pay taxes there. Who the hell made this rule, man? What do you mean? Then he gave me that, he like slid the piece of paper across the table. It's what you owe.
Yeah.
Take that back and give me a different number.
Like the size of the Bible. You can see like every state, every day that you were there, and
you need a form for every one of those states. Yeah. I did do that. That hit me for when I was traveling for that 1 year back and forth to Bristol, Connecticut. I had to pay taxes in Connecticut because I worked there during that fall. I'm like, say what now?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
So are you all? Because I am. When I say last minute, I mean like today. Like my tax guy. That's why I was on the phone. You didn't fill out the stuff yet. You need you to do that now. Oh, okay. I'm last minute. I'm gonna hold on to my coins for as long as I can before I have to pay you back.
Yeah.
Are you, Jamie? You get right into it.
I have a guy that takes care of things yearly. So, like, each month we go through.
You pay quarterly?
Because I have so much going on with the different, and like some of the companies I'm an owner, some of them I'm an owner, but I have an LLC that's employed by the said LLC. There's layers to it, right? Like, there's got all these things that can benefit an individual. And so my accountant, it's monthly. I don't pay quarterly, but we go through things monthly to see where we're at, kind of. Even aside. For specific write-offs or expenses that you have. Like, otherwise, if you wait till now, like, it's a disaster. You're trying to remember things. You're trying to pull out receipts from things and find stuff. So I scan it all in, send it to him. We talk, and then he presents me with the whole thing and says, here's what you're paying. Here's what you get back for this. Oh, that's great. Here's what you're paying. Here's what you're not getting back for this. Because each entity is something different. And then he says he has little yellow tabs that are great. Sign here.
Sign here, here.
Or click here, click here, click here.
So you guys brought up, obviously, the athlete side of things, and you brought up when you went to Bristol. Now, Jamie, you travel with the Blues.
Yes.
And Carey, you've traveled with Illinois football. Is it the same thing for broadcasting when you go to a specific city and work in said city?
So because I don't make as much as I did when I was playing, no.
Okay.
It's not the same. It's not nearly the same as when I was playing.
I still have to do it.
Okay.
Not nearly the same. But it has to be done because, like, let's take some of these road trips into consideration. You have a 7-day road trip in California. So now my paycheck after that road trip is going to look substantially different than a 7-day road trip in Florida or a 7-day road trip where you go to like Vegas, Texas, or Nashville. You get some of these states that have the no state income tax, and your check looks a lot better. But then you got to make sure you're offsetting for where your check doesn't look like you've got to.
And I'm sure it looks different when you go to Canada as well.
Yeah, Canada's a different thing. You can have some exemptions from Canada. And I carry 2 passports now, so there are certain things that you're able to do in those situations. That's why I have somebody who I pay to get it right, because God knows that it's so confusing. One mistake and all of a sudden, you're screwed. I remember it was a number of years ago. It was after the lockout of 04, 05, that whole thing. It was like the next summer, all of a sudden, all of my bank accounts were frozen. I had nothing, no access to money. And it wasn't like I had the app. It really wasn't a thing. So I'm calling my bank, and they said, yeah, we got a email from the IRS. It said, freeze your accounts. I don't know. It said, call them. So I'm like, what? So I call my accountant, and I'm like, I get on the phone with the IRS. They're going to talk circles around.
Yeah, right.
So I get on the phone with him, and then we get a conference call. And so what they had done, and this is why you got to be very diligent with things, especially when it comes to your taxes, is the previous number of years I'd spent so many days in the state of California. Well, this year here, they just went rinse and repeat because they thought like that's a thing.
Yeah.
So then when they saw that I hadn't paid taxes on my time in California, they froze my accounts. Yeah. But I hadn't worked in California because it was the lockout year. I hadn't been there for one day yet. And so I had to prove to them. We had a whole thing. I had to get the NHLPA involved, all this stuff. It took like a week before they unfroze my accounts.
No.
Wow. I had to borrow money.
Wow.
From a former teammate that lives in town here. I had to borrow money from him to continue to buy groceries and things like that.
The team should have gave you. The team should have. Like, yeah, we know you're good. We'll give you.
Yeah, that's a good one, Carey.
Paycheck.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's a good team. That's a good team would do.
Yeah. I didn't even think about asking the team. I knew the answer.
You know who want to do that? The Detroit Lions.
Yeah,
Man, you
right.
pay all your money back.
Yep.
Yeah, seriously.
So when I first started working, I was living in Detroit. I had a lot of different like odd jobs, right, that required 1099s, and I was unfamiliar with how the 1099s worked. If you're unfamiliar, much different than a W-2.
Better
W-2,
put some change aside.
you've got money coming out, right, all that.
1099 is
It's
you,
the
brother.
enemy.
Yeah. So I went to, found a tax guy. My parents were like, hey, listen, just hire somebody to do your taxes. And I'm like, all right, cool. So went to some tax. I sat down with this guy. He's like, all right, you got a bunch of 1099s here. Oh, how much have you paid for quarterlies?
Yeah.
I go, I love quarters. Yeah, I don't. Everything I got in the bank account. He goes, no, your quarterly payments. I'm like, whoa, what are those? He's like, well, it's money that you've been paying along the way here,
just to make sure
you're
not getting knocked out.
I go, I don't know what to tell you, boss. It's my first year paying taxes. I go, just tell me what I got to do. He's like, yeah, you should have been paying quarterlies. So then he's like, well, hopefully you set money aside. I go, I don't have money. I don't make a lot, right? Learn the hard way.
It's a fun game, isn't it?
It's a fun game. Learn the hard way that over time, that one wasn't bad, but the following year, no, it was that one. I got the tax return back, and they're like, you owe $8,000. I go, come again?
I'd take that.
Say what? Well, this is me. I didn't make any, but I wasn't making any money, so I didn't put aside anything for. Like, fortunately, I was okay then with my money that I was able to pay it and all that. But I think my bank account probably went from $8,500 down to $500.
Yeah.
After I wrote the check to the IRS.
It's tough,
always paid quarterlies after that.
It's tough. I'm just a firm believer. It's a total pipe dream, but they take taxes out, every paycheck. Let's just call it even.
Right. What are we doing?
What are we doing here? Like
you're taking I'm already getting taxed.
You already punched me in the mouth. Why you got to kick me in the balls now? Like, I don't get it.
This is why this country was founded. On this stuff.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
On taxes?
Yeah. Well, we were trying to get away
raised
from
because we were trying to get enough money so we could go to war. Let's just be honest.
Well, but we were also breaking free from
we talking about
England
right now?
as well.
What's that?
Screw your taxes, England. We're out of here.
Throwing the tea in the harbor.
Well, that's how it started.
Yes.
Until I believe it was World War I, where they realized we need to have more money to go to war. So they started taxing people, and it's never stopped.
Turns out these people from England have kind of had an idea.
Well, it's a good thing all the roads are fixed.
Oh, man. Yeah, but our golf cart path got fixed in Cottleville.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's freshly paved now. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, there you go. All right. That was the...
Can I answer one question really quick?
Yes.
Question.
The question.
From the 636 says, do the leagues or teams give you assistants or advisors to help you? Yeah, no, they give us nothing. They give us a paycheck and say good luck.
Hopefully you're not in jail next year. You paid your taxes and
good
you
luck,
didn't.
kid.
Good luck. Yeah. Good luck.
Advisors.
You don't have any clue, man.
They should.
They really should.
The PAs should have a group
that works solely with each team.
That gives a discount.
Yep.
And then make sure to keep your players.
Jamie, you know what?
Well, especially you have, like, the way that sports is trending now, there's so many young kids that are entering into professional sports. You have 18-year-olds.
Well, how about this kid that just signed over 100 with the Tigers, over $130 million?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell does he think he's going to do? He doesn't know what the hell he's doing with that.
Professor McGonagall.
Here's your contract, and by the way, here's the number of the MLB PA's advisors for finances.
Help you.
You must sit down with them. Blah 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 blah. There.
The college kids are having it bad too because some of these guys with the NIL don't know that they have to actually pay taxes on that. So they're getting these big checks, but don't realize, hey man, don't go buy that Hellcat. Don't buy that new Charger, whatever car of choice. Don't buy it because you're gonna have to pay taxes on that money. And you just spent it all on a vehicle. Good luck, brother.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, a lot to learn.
Yep. All right, we got Prove Me Wrong coming up next, 314-399-9646. If you want to have a Prove Me Wrong statement, send it in there, and then we'll try to argue against it in front of our judge, Andrew Marsh. It's next on 101 ESPN.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
Time to play Prove Me Wrong. This is where you can send in a statement that you want Carey, Jamie, or me to have to prove wrong in the eyes of Judge Andrew Marsh. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Judge, what is our first case?
From the 217, prove me wrong. The Cardinals will not sign any of their young players to a long-term deal before the lockout.
Say that again. The Cardinals won't sign anybody to a long-term deal before the lockout?
That's correct. Any of their young players.
Do you not see what J.J. Weatherholt is doing right now? Do you not see what Jordan Walker
price is going up daily.
Exactly. So what we do have here is we have a smart organization that, while some people would call them cheap, I would call them frugal. They want to make sure that they don't have to spend buku bucks down the road. One way to do that is to make sure that you lock up one of your young guys well before free agency. Let's not forget here, this is a build. They hope it's not going to last too long. So at some point, they expect to contend, which means they want to sign some big-time free agents down the road. They want to do that while also hanging over their heads a big contract for Weatherholt or Walker? I don't think so. Smaller deal now for J.J. Weatherholt or Walker in terms of the contract, saves some money over the long haul.
If I may add.
Of course, co-counsel.
What happens, too, is if there is a lockout, that contract year gets voided. I know this because with my extension with the Detroit Red Wings, that still was a contract year, except I didn't get paid a dime. So it ate up a year of the contract. So quite honestly, if the Cardinals were really, really smart, they'd want to sign that thing right now. And then next year, if there's a lockout, that player doesn't get paid for the year. So then you average out the payments throughout the rest of the contract. It's going to lower the AAV. So it would be in their best interest to try to lock them up ASAP.
Can I ask you guys another question? Is it in their best interest, or will they actually do it?
Well, I think saving money, it's both, Judge. Saving money is both beneficial and something that the Cardinals always want to do because they are a business first, Judge. We know this.
And based upon Chaim Bloom, who's come in and he's had that do it now mentality, do it. I don't see any reason why he would sit back.
Yeah.
Guys, I said yesterday I'm not going to be negative about this franchise anymore. Let's sign both of them. Walker and Weatherholt. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Good job.
Try and answer this one from Magic Beans. Prove me wrong. Jimmy Snuggerud's strong rookie season is more important to the long-term success of his team than J.J. Weatherholt's is to his team.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you look at J.J. Weatherholt. We talked about this yesterday. CD made an excellent point. The Jordan Walker ceiling is so much higher. The importance of having other guys. How about starting pitching? Liam Doyle and all these guys. All of those guys are what's going to bring you a championship. J.J. Weatherholt is a part of it. But right now, Jimmy Snuggerud is playing on the first line on one of the most productive lines in the NHL since the Olympic break. He's sitting at 21 goals right now. Robert Thomas and Dylan Holloway. Jimmy Snuggerud, if you had a pie chart, Carey, and you said to yourself, what percentage of importance is Jimmy Snuggerud to the St. Louis Blues? He would eat up a huge piece of that pie. Loves that pie, Carey. Can't get enough of it. Yeah. And then if you did it with J.J. Weatherholt, he still would eat up a good portion, but not as much as Jimmy Snuggerud because there's so many other important things that have to come together. And J.J. Weatherholt is a contributor. I don't think he's a star or superstar. So I think Jimmy Snuggerud is more important right now, currently, for the Blues.
Yeah, I think they're both important guys.
Yeah, they both like pie.
Yeah, that was a tough one to. Yeah, that was tough. All right, let's see here from the Weather Boy. Not the Weather Boy. I'm sorry, the Water Boy. Speaking of Weather Boy, what do you like to know, Weather Boy? The Water Boy wants to know, prove me wrong, J.J. Weatherholt is showing that going from shortstop to second base automatically leads to major league success.
I don't think that the position change really had anything to do with his success. I assume that J.J. Weatherholt, just like our good friend Anthony Stalter, whether he's playing shortstop, second base, third base, really anywhere in the infield, would be a successful player, because when you put that much work in, when you have that type of work ethic, it doesn't matter where they stick you at in the field. You're going to go do your job and do it at a high level, because you know the game. And you play the game the right way. And JJ plays the game the right way. Anthony Stalter played the game. That who lost in that position change when Anthony moved? It was the coach. It wasn't Anthony. It was the damn coach. He lost in that transition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You missed out on what could have been. And JJ Weatherholt, understanding the game, says Mason Wynn, you're pretty darn good at that position. I can go anywhere because I've put in the work. Not going to miss a beat. He's fine.
Carey, you said something yesterday about players. It's like when you put your food in the microwave, you want that instant, instantly, right? Instant mac and cheese, whatever. I feel like that's what they did with Anthony, right? They didn't allow him to cook.
They didn't let him cook.
No,
it's their loss.
It's their loss.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
I think we end on that one.
Yeah.
I don't know how we can move forward with anything else.
Good point, Judge.
Thank you, Carey. I appreciate you big time.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, we'll talk to Joe Vitale last time as we wrap up the season with Joe. We'll talk to him about the Blues effort last night and maybe take a peek ahead to the offseason. That's next at 101 ESPN.
Anthony, our guy, Stewie, is always doing things around town here, whether he's helping people buying new houses, consolidating debt. Sometimes people want to take out a home equity loan. They want to make improvements to their house, but then sometimes it's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. Why would you even try to figure it out on your own? Don't. Call our guy, Stewie. He loves helping people out, and he loves saving you money. He happens to be our guy, and he's the best in the business.
Yeah, he is. He is. Jamie, you and I both used him personally, and we continue to do so because I'll just be frank with everybody. He's a good. He's a good dude. He's a good person.
Awesome dude.
He takes your call. We'll give out the phone number for you in a second, but there's really nothing that he hasn't heard before. I thought I had kind of a doozy of a situation for Stu, and I call him up. He's like, yeah, you know what? Saw this not too long. It was actually a lot worse. So, you know what? Don't even worry about it.
Feel so bad, then.
Yeah, you feel like, oh, okay, cool. You always feel like you're in good hands, though. So, again, home loan. You're trying to get that dream home. He's got you covered when it comes to the loan. Is now a good time or a bad time to refi? He'll flat out tell you. He may tell you, hey, don't, and I'll call you back.
And I keep asking him. He's like, slow down. Just
slow
wait.
down. Okay, I got you. I got you covered on that. So he's always going to give you honest advice. He's always going to put you in the best situation. So give him a call or shoot him a text at 314-324-4440.
Again, 314-324-4440.
And if you missed that number, you can always Google
the Bagel Loan.
NMLS number 226715.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Universal Windows Direct. Last night, the Blues took down the Pittsburgh Penguins by a final score of 7-5. They have one more game left to go in the regular season. You can listen to it right here on 101 ESPN tomorrow night as the Blues take on the Utah Mammoth. Pregame starts at 5:30. Puck drop is at 6:30. And we will be joined by Joe Vitale next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Universal Windows Direct. You'll be saying, I love my windows.
Everything St. Louis Blues as we head into the Blues booth on 101 ESPN. Presented by Boardwalk Hardwood Floors. Find your perfect new floor at boardwalkhardwood.com.
It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's head to the Collier and Thompson phone line. We're joined by our guy, Joe Vitale, for the last time this Blues season. Joe, first and foremost, we appreciate all the coverage throughout the course of the year here in the Fast Lane. We always enjoy talking to you each and every week.
Hey, Stalter, I appreciate you guys as well. It's my pleasure. Look forward to these every week. We're going to miss it. It's unfortunate that the Blues season is going to end so quickly this year and not make the postseason. But like I said, it's always great to catch up and whatever I can do for you guys.
What a game last night, too, Joe. We had Jimmy Snuggerud having the four-point game. Have you seen kind of the maturation unfold in front of you with Snuggerud, where last season he gets the cup of coffee, this year kind of a slower start, and then, boy, it has picked up. What has been most impressive about the maturation for him?
You know, I think the biggest thing is I think everything that's happened up to this point from where he started last year is probably exactly the trajectory for a young player coming out of college. You know, because you come out last year and you finish out the regular season, and then you get into the first round of the playoffs, and he just took off. And everyone's like, whoa. So much so that, you know, Doug Armstrong decides in the offseason to trade Zachary Bolduc because you're pretty full on that right side with, of course, Snuggerud, Bolduc, and Kyrou. So, I mean, Jimmy comes in there, he pushes Bolduc aside, and rightfully so. He outplayed Bolduc, and I think he's going to be a better player than Bolduc. There's no question about that. So, all things considered, you're thinking, okay, he's going to come in this first full season. Is he going to continue at that pace? And I think what happened was extremely natural, which is very slow start. Not very slow start. It was a slower start for a rookie. I mean, he was fine, right? But it was nothing like we saw, you know, at the end of last year, because, you know, last year you're kind of working off adrenaline. You're playing the most exciting time. You just came out of college, you know. But I think the drifting, if you will, from October, November, December, the drifting in and out, that's just pro hockey. That's playing 4 games a week. That's playing back-to-backs in big buildings. It's playing 3 games in 4 nights. You know, he's just not used to that schedule. He's not used to the grind, not used to all the cameras and the coaches and the pressure. I mean, it's a very different looking game compared to college. So I think those early mid-season kind of bumps, if you will, were completely normal. And I really applaud him for where he bounced back right after that wrist surgery. He came back, and like Jim Montgomery said, there was just a willingness just to shoot the puck. Like he just said, the heck with it. Something mentally shifted in him. He resorted to his gift, which is his shot. He started coming into games and having, you know, at the end of the night, you look at the score sheet, Stalton, you have 10 attempts. You know, next night, 7 shots on goal. The next night, 11 attempts. I mean, it just started compiling, and all of a sudden, he just got more and more confidence. And then he just started scoring, finding the back of the net. So a wonderful year, I think, overall for him. It's great to see him get over 20 goals the other night, which was a big-time goal for any rookie. So to kind of reach that in your rookie season goes to show you how good he can be. And the only thing that's holding Jimmy Snuggerud back from becoming a 30-goal scorer next season, or in one day a 40-goal scorer, is just his health and the health of his line mates. If Thomas, Holloway, and Jimmy Snuggerud can stay healthy like they were throughout the second half, I mean, you're looking at a very true, consistent 30-plus goal scorer every single season from here moving forward.
Joey, we were listening to some audio post-game last night. I think Curbs had it on the curbside. podcast was just some stuff with Oscar Sundqvist. And, we were talking about culture earlier today on the show and how important that is for winning teams, whether it's a team that's in championship mode or a team that's building and wants to become a team that has strong culture and great character. Sonny said flat out, and you know how Sonny is, that he'd die for the logo. Now, he's unrestricted after the season's over. I didn't play a lot coming down the stretch. What do you think happens with Oscar Sundqvist is probably the first part of the question in this. How important is it to have guys like Oscar on a team that is looking to grow and continue to get better?
Well, Jamie, I'll start with, what do I think is going to happen with Oscar? I mean, I wish I had a crystal ball. I talked to Oscar. All I can tell you is what Oscar wants, and Oscar wants to stay. He loves his play, and that's not every player. Every player in his situation, some guys don't want to stay. You're looking at St. Louis where, they're still in the Central Division where it's going to be tough for the next couple of years between Minnesota, Dallas, and Colorado. I mean, those teams aren't going anywhere. So to have a UFA to willingly want to come back to be a part of this group, with a couple of years of, that retool and the refining, if you will, to eventually get to the pace of those top teams, a lot of guys wouldn't want to do that. So the fact that he wants to be here, given the situation, the state of the team, I think says a lot. And, on the post game last night, we talked about the trade from Pittsburgh back in 2017. Alexander Steen, who was a player at the time, reached out to him. He was the first player that called him, welcomed him in. And, Oscar knew right away that St. Louis just felt different, right? It felt like a family. He talked about the alumni and Chaser and all these guys just reaching out to him. He came in as a boy. I mean, he did. He came in as a boy. And now look where he's at now. He's a mature man, right? He's a father now. He's a husband. He's a leader. I mean, he's known all around the community. Everyone loves his smile. The fans just appreciate the way he plays. And I think that Oscar feels all that. And one of my favorite things he said last night in that post-game recap was that this is his home. Like, this is where he wants to be. It reminds you a little bit, Jamie, of Robert Bortuzzo, who I caught up with in the hallway last night as well. You come in, he also came in from Pittsburgh, funny enough, but now he wants to build a life here, right? He's sticking around here, and there's something about St. Louis for him as well that just feels like home. So I know Oscar wants to stay here. The big question is, does Alexander's team have him in his plans? The big thing that would prevent him from staying is, can he keep up with this pace now, right? He's getting older. The game's getting faster. It's getting wittier. It's getting smarter. As you get older, eventually you have to age out. So the only thing preventing him from being here is his capabilities from a skill set on the ice, and can he keep up with the pace? With all that being said, though, what does it do for culture? It's not just does something important. It's everything. I mean, I'm looking at the Tampa Bay Lightning that even through their injuries, they continue to click at the rate. The Penguins coming back with all their veteran players. When you have culture and when you have players with veteran presence, that pretty much keeps everything in line. So every player coming up is going to follow suit with that. And I'll wrap it with this quick story. We were at a New Year's Eve game in Colorado. Rivs, you were there too. We were down I think 4 or 5-0 in the first 5 minutes of that game. The Blues just got washed that night. And I think at the time, first period, down 4-0, McKinnon had 3 points already. And we're only 7-8 minutes in this game. The Blues take a penalty. Nathan McKinnon goes out there on the power play. He makes a pass. Someone wasn't where they were supposed to be. He whacks his stick. He comes back to the bench. He slams the door. He starts barking at a teammate. And it really kind of, I think, epitomizes what you're talking about. That's culture. Here's a guy having success on the season, success in the game. At that time, the Avalanche had not lost in regulation at home. And this is almost into the new year. And here he is, fired up at his teammates. Why? Because the culture of the Colorado Avalanche is they have leaders that demand excellence. Nathan McKinnon, Gabriel Landeskog, Cale Makar. They don't accept anything less than excellence. And, culture is about, do you have elite, excellent players, or do you have mediocre players? And we all know, guys, the elite players, they don't like mediocre players. And guess what? The mediocre players, they don't like the elite players either. It goes hand in hand. So culture is about how do you grab those overachievers, those veteran overachievers, and then every young kid that comes into that organization, they know, okay, this is an overachieving culture because the leaders, the captains, the goal scorers, the core people, that's how they feel. I mean, and to wrap it up, but, Rick Bowness last night with the Columbus Blue Jackets, his comments after the game were awesome. If the Colorado Avalanche were on one side of the spectrum, to me, the Blue Jackets, to the coach's point, are on the other side. Like they said, he made a comment that, his team, they just feel like if they're okay to lose. Like culture is all about that. Like you cannot accept losing. And when you look at Oscar and you think about players like Jake Neighbors and Robert Thomas and Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg, you have to have that in you. And if you have that, whoever comes into that organization, they're gonna feel it. They're gonna sense it. They're gonna smell it out right away. And they're going to know, is this something I want to be a part of? Am I capable of it? And then that's how teams grow.
Joe, great stuff. We appreciate you, man. Like I said before, have a great offseason. I'm sure we'll talk to you before free agency and everything that breaks down.
Anytime, you guys. Appreciate you guys all year long. Great coverage, and we'll be listening to you guys this summer.
You the man, Joe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. Joe Vitale here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. When we come back, criticisms of compliments and 3 stars of the day. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com or the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. All the podcasts brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. Hit it, Marshy.
Criticisms and compliments. Presented by Bet365. With Bet365 early payout, you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything.
All right, we got a ton today, but we're running out of time here. I'll go to Dale in Grubville, who said earlier today that I look like a sexy Bradford.
Yeah, nice. That's good. That's a good compliment. That's for sure.
I thought that one.
Well done.
It's time for the Fast Lane's 3 Stars of the Day, presented by Circus Sports. No bet fees ever with the world's largest sports book. Now at your fingertips in Illinois and Missouri.
All right, real quick here. 3rd star of the day goes out to first-round wide receivers being the new first-round running backs in the eyes of Anthony Stalter. 2nd star of the day goes out to the UF Mammoth.
UF.
And our 1st star of the day goes out to the Teletubby Tinky Winky.
Yeah, nice job, Brad. Hey, you can join Team A for the return of the Dotem Golf Tournament on Friday, May 15th at Oak Valley Golf Course and Resort, presented by Cutwater Canned Cocktails. Get your foursome together. You can join Tim, Martin, Doug, and Jackson for a day out on the course, which includes breakfast from Donut Drive-In, lunch from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, an after party with food from Texas Roadhouse, all your Cutwater Canned Cocktails and Anheuser-Busch beer, the 100 West Dental closest to the pin competition, and the Evergreen Wealth Strategist longest drive competition. Tickets open up at 8 a.m. on Friday, benefiting Birdies for Bipolar. See ya!